Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in together, we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave the troubles behind. This podcast is gold, the treasure you'll find. With every word, we'll light up your day. Join the conversation, let's laugh all the way. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave your troubles behind. This podcast is gold, a treasure you'll find.
Good morning, all you beautiful peeps. How are we today? Happy Monday. Welcome back to the cafe. It's great to see you guys. Hope you all had an amazing weekend and an amazing Easter with your amazing families. Great to have you back here today. I hope you're all doing wonderful. Thank you for joining us. It is great to see you all, as always. Come on in, grab a seat, get comfortable, sit down, grab your cup of joe. Let's see what's going on in the world today. Wow. Long day yesterday. So very long day. Long day. My family was here till about 11 o'clock last night. It's busy. And we're back, which is why you guys did not see me at all. I was slammed nonstop. Saturday night, I had family here for that. And they were here late. Plus, we were getting ready for yesterday, and that was an all-day excursion. So, but it was very much enjoyable. So, I'm grateful. But I'm more than grateful to be back with you guys today because I missed each and every one of you so very much. I feel like Mr. Rogers greeting you guys. I guess I will be here by myself today, guys. So you're stuck with me by myself. Sorry. Mama Bear's got some appointments with the kiddos. And of course, that is so very important. So please come on in, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. If you haven't done any of that yet, please do. Let's get today moving and see what's going on out here. Holy shnikes. Miss Brandy B in the house today. Hit her 27-month Dagoversary. Happy Dagoversary to you. And it's way longer than that, but that's just since we've been doing true crime. Miss Brandy's been with me actually for almost 4 years. So. And Miss Stormy hit her 7-month Dagoversary. Happy Dagoversary to you, Miss Stormy. Appreciate having you both in this community and this family and on this team so very much. That's awesome. 27 months, Miss Brandy B. Speaking of all you two, we now know we got Miss Brandy here and Miss Stormy. Also, we got Mittens for Kittens, Alicia J, SR, B. Thank you so much for joining us, along with the rest of the amazing and awesome blue crew that we have here. Ida Toes in the house. Welcome to you. Great to see you here today. Michelle Apple, welcome back. Always a pleasure. Great to see you. Thank you again for that, Stormy. Excuse me. Let me see here. Show. Alicia J, how are you today? Great to see you. Bemmy Rose, welcome back to you. Miss Paula Fitzhenry's in the house. Wonderful to see you today, Miss Paula. Such a pleasure always. Miss Lacey, wonderful to see you here. Wonderful to have you in the house today with us. Ida Toes, I love the name. And none other than Dagburn, Johnny Gobble's Dead Floozy Mama's in the house with us. I love it. Love it. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you so much as well. Come on in and grab a seat, y'all. Miss Lily Rose, such a pleasure to see you as well. The Tomboy Charm flying in with the bird. Thank you, Tomboy, for joining us. I hope all of you had an amazing day yesterday. Missed all of you so very much. Good morning. Good golly, Miss Molly's in the house today, guys. There she is. Hello, hello. Welcome back, Molly girl. Great to see you. I hope you had an amazing day as well. Another one of the amazing blue crewers. Love these guys. Like I said, y'all, couldn't do this without them. I need a makeover. I need a makeover, folks. I'm going to do it sometime today or tomorrow. I'm going to do a makeover. I can't stand it. I look like an old man living under the bridge. Come on in, everybody. 29 peeps in the house with 14 likes. That is so amazing. Thank you all so very much. You are so very much appreciated. I hope Miss Tandy, I would bet Miss Tandy had to go back to work today. Don't you dare ever apologize, Bemmy. Thank you for being here today. Real life always comes first. And happy belated birthday to your grandson. I hope you had an amazing day. Yes, happy belated Easter to all of you. If you didn't see my community post, every one of you, I hope you had just an absolutely amazing Easter with all your amazing families. Each one of you deserved it, and it's great to be back here with you today. Kelly Coker, welcome back to you. Great to see you today. Stormy Jane is in the house. There's Miss Stormy. Great to see you, Stormy. Thank you for being here with us today. Hope you had a great day, too. Congrats to these two again, and happy day anniversary. 27 months and 7 months for both of them. That's amazing. Although they've both been here longer, I know. Eddie's in the house one maiden night. Good to see you, buddy. I hope you had a great day yesterday. Thank you for joining us today. Come on in and grab a seat. Welcome back, everyone, to the True Crime Cafe. Never feel bad about missing a show, guys. Please don't ever. I'm grateful to have you all here when you're here, but don't ever feel bad or try to apologize for it. That never needs to happen. Great to see you, Eddie. Always happy to have you here, bud. Got some stuff to talk about today. We will be heading back to the Coffee and a Cold Case series starting back Wednesday. Guys, I just haven't had time to look into any of these cases with the holiday and everything. It's kept me slammed busy. So we'll be getting back to that Wednesday, of course. And I'm trying to catch up for Saturday night, one day this week, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Because we are going to be doing our weird, creepy, unexplained, and scary Saturday night. Because of the holiday, like I said, I couldn't do it. But we're going to catch that up sometime here soon. Within this week. Like I said, it could be tonight, tomorrow, whenever. I don't know. But we're going to be looking into swamp monsters. If you're interested in that stuff, please look into it. There's our Molly. 21 months. It's way longer than that for Molly, I believe, too. Great to see you, dear. Happy day anniversary to you. Love it, love it. Under and over it, welcome to you. Again, congrats, Miss Molly. Oh, yeah, the creepy stuff is good. But like I said, we're going to be looking into swamp monsters. You guys can thank Mama Bear for that one. She came up with that idea. Real swamp monsters, I guess. Great to see you, Molly. Hope you're feeling better, dear. Come on in, guys. 34 peeps in here. There's 17 likes. We're almost there. Come on. You guys can do that. Oh, we got besties in here. Under and over it and Miss Stormy. Besties are besties. Forever. That's awesome, Bemmy. That is amazing. Again, happy day anniversary, Miss Molly. And Alicia, 5 months. Oh, wow. It's been way longer. Sorry about that. Happy day anniversary to you, Miss Alicia. Good Lord, YouTube is lying. Jeez. We know Alicia's been here longer than that. You ain't lying there, bud. They definitely are. But these things are way different than mosquitoes that we're going to be looking into. So we'll see. Come on in, guys. Yesterday was such a long day. Yeah, it's been more than a year for sure. Maybe it's a little vacation you took there counting, Alicia, which I don't care. I don't count it, but they do. So be it. It's all good. We know the truth here. Also, can you make sure you guys can hear me okay? Please let me know. Excuse me. None of them are. They're always wrong. Welcome back, Victorine. Good to see you. Happy belated Easter to you as well. All of you. Again, I hope you had an amazing day yesterday. Thank you, SRB. Oh, I know. No big deal. No big deal. You know how YouTube is. So thank you, Lily. Well, I did miss you guys over the weekend. That's for sure. It's only really one day, but it seemed like an eternity, folks. I'm just kidding. Diego, the dramatic one. Everybody enjoy their ham or turkey or whatever they had yesterday? We had ham. It was amazing. And potato salad. And spinach balls. And green beans. And corn. You too, Victorine. Hey, Matt, what's going on, buddy? Thank you, sir. And a bunch of desserts because that's what my wife's family makes. Oh yeah, we did all that last night and this morning. That's why I was running a little late today. I still have the roasting pans sitting over here. They're empty now, but a bologna sandwich. What the HE double hockle stick? What? Good morning, afternoon, Moonlit. Good to see you. Chris said I forgot yesterday was a holiday. Oh God, that ain't gonna happen in my house, Chris. Good to see you, buddy. Baloney. No. I don't believe you for some reason. Mm-hmm. That's usually what happens, Alicia. It's usually what happens. Soup dumplings. Y'all are crazy. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear you had to work, and I'm glad you enjoyed your day somewhat, Victorine. Absolutely, Miss Paula. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Had to work all weekend, which was fine. I had sloppy joes. Hey, don't be calling me that. But I did have 2 boiled eggs for Easter, but I can't eat like that. My stomach won't handle it, so I stick with a stain. I got you. No worries, Lily. Good stuff. I'm sorry you had to work all weekend, too. Oh, so sorry to hear that. That sucks. Oh, that's right. You did do that early. I forgot. Now, the only way I eat sloppy joes is if I put it on a hot dog with a hot dog bun. And it is so good that way. Oh, I'm not. But, growing up, because my real name is Joe, I was called that all through school. So At one point, I hated sloppy joes because of that. I can handle them now. Like I said, on a hot dog, they're amazing. You should try it. No, it ain't you. You. They're very good. Very good. Especially with homemade sloppy joes. 43 peeps here with 22 likes. Welcome, by the way. Saw this morning that Pope Francis passed away, 88 years old. It's kind of sad for everybody that follows the Catholic religion, and an icon such as himself passing away. It's pretty rough. That's wild to me. The day after Easter, too. That was wild. Oh, yeah. I can imagine, Lily. I absolutely can imagine. Oh, better listen to Miss Stormy here. Instead, if you don't hit that like button, everybody gets detention, which means you got to stay and listen to my voice after the show. You don't want that. We don't want that, so make sure to hit that button. Messy Jesse. Oh, Lord, I bet. Like we were Garbage Pail Kids, you know what I mean? Gotta love it. Thank you, SRB. Anybody wants to join the sauce and jump in here with the rest of us and help us spill this sauce throughout the week, guys, become a meatball. Click that link there, SRB threw up. And also, if you, that's for the iPhone there, the first one. And if you don't have an iPhone, that one works a little easier. Just click that and that'll bring you right on in with the rest of us. Damn, I got a toothache today. Time to get to the dentist. This is the iPhone link. That one here is the normal one. The Energizer Bunny, because your initials were AA. Double A, Alicia. That is silly. That is silly. Yes, it is. It radiates all up the side of your face and everything. Let's see what crazy stuff is going on out here. Like I said, Pope Francis passed away, so they'll be bringing another one of those Pope guys in. Or Squirt, because you're a tiny one. You're just a little one. Little, but packing a hell of a punch, I'm sure. Tiny, but powerful. Oh, man. God, I'm still tired from yesterday. I'm exhausted. We were outside most of yesterday, too, because it was really nice here yesterday. There was a tiny bit of wind, but it was beautiful outside, so it was perfect. Oh, yeah. I understand that one. I take it you were, if you weren't an only child, you were the baby, I take it. Let's see. Where are we going to start at today? The baby and little. Yes, that's what I figured. Welcome, Hunter's Moon. Wonderful to see you again. Hope you had a great Easter yesterday. Oh, geez, Moonlight. I'm sorry to hear that. Damn tornado season. Oh, yeah. I do that all the time, Lily. Oh, always. I always do that. I think I know what happened is I broke a piece of it off on something a couple of days ago, and I think the nerve's exposed. So I got to get into the dentist. I did the peroxide rinse, though. I always do that anyway. Even when I don't have a toothache. Let me see. It is. As you get older, your body starts falling apart piece by piece. Not fun. Let's see. I saw somewhere that it looked like there was another either helicopter or plane crash sometimes, either Saturday night or yesterday morning. I might be wrong if I remember looking at it. Yesterday was like a daze. Hmm. I may still have a cold case to share with you guys. So it's depending on how I was going to present it. Sergeant Friday's in the house. What's happening, Saj? Good to see you, brother. Hope you had a good day yesterday. Enjoyed your steak or whatever it was you ate. It's always something crazy. Dude, Miss Sarge always eats well. Doesn't matter what it is. I think the first thing I was going to share with you guys was they did a little bit of a segment. Beat day cake, huh? When's your birthday, Sarge? Oh, today's your birthday, Sarge? September. So what in the hell are you making a birthday cake for now, you weirdo? You just made yourself a cake just to have then. That sounds about right. Forgot to make it in September. You're a trip, dude. Absolute trip. That's very true. Very true. Very true. I was going to give you guys a little bit of insight into the FSU shooter. A little bit of a segment they're running about his mental health background. Cherry vanilla cupcakes. Oh, man. My mother-in-law made pistachio, some kind of a pistachio dessert, and then a lemon one yesterday. My daughter made a chocolate pie. Double fudge with chocolate pudding in the middle and chocolate. Damn, Sarge, you did all that yourself? Shit. A lot of chocolate, bub. Sounds good, though, bud. For sure. Oh, wow, Hunter. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Poor little guy. One candle. Well, you don't want to put any more than that on there at your age, Sarge. That could cause have to call the fire department. So we don't want any more than one. It's really good, guys. It was crushed. The bottom crust is like a crushed up walnut mixture of something, and then there's pistachio pudding, and then like a whipped cream on top of it, and then I think she freezes it, and then you just cut it in squares. It's amazing, and the lemon one's the same way. God, it's so good, so very good. Chocolate satin pie. Oh yeah. Anna Reichel, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, it's nice to have when you don't have the kids around. It has a tendency to suck a little bit. SRB, I bet she did miss it with Cassie being out of state. I hope she's doing okay today. Hope her and the kiddos had a good day yesterday. Amen to that one, hunters. Amen. Hairpot, shut up, Sarge. You're an ass. All right, y'all. Let's get this moving and see what we got going on out here. Key lime is pretty good too, Anna. I love that. Oh, that sounds good, Stormy. Let's see what they're saying about this guy from the FSU shooter. I almost did. Yes, Sarge, I almost did.
We're also learning more about the suspected gunman here. Tallahassee police identifying the shooting suspect as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, a student at Florida State University and the stepson of a Leon County Sheriff's Office deputy. At a news conference, Tallahassee's police chief said Eichner declined to talk to law enforcement about the shooting, invoking his Fifth Amendment right. Friday, new reports came out detailing a custody fight reportedly between Eichner's biological mother and dad several years earlier. According to those court documents, when Eichner was 11, 9 years before the Florida State shooting, his biological mother reportedly took him to Norway, which was a violation of the custody agreement. According to that complaint, the mom allegedly said that she and Eichner were going to South Florida, but then fled to Norway, where she reportedly had dual citizenship. Eichner's dad sent texts and emails to the mother asking when she would return with their son, but reportedly would get vague replies. That's according to that complaint. A judge found there was probable cause that the mother had violated that custody agreement. In the complaint, Eichner's dad reportedly expressed concern that their son suffered from, quote, developmental delays and, quote, has special needs that would not be taken care of unless he.
What's up, Jeff? Happy Monday to you. Make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Hope you guys all had a great Easter yesterday. It is somewhat relevant, yes.
He was in the U.S. It also alleged that Eichner suffers from ADHD. Records show that a judge ordered the mom to return to the U.S. with Eichner and threatened to give the father sole custody. That case ended with a plea agreement. Again, that is according to records, which you can see right there on the right-hand side of your screen. Months later, Eichner's mother filed a slander lawsuit against Eichner's father and wife. That lawsuit dismissed. It does not appear that either family member has publicly commented.
Welcome, Wisdom. Miss Wisdom, wonderful to see you. I hope you had a wonderful Easter yesterday. It's always a pleasure to have you here, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
On that 2015 investigation, the lawsuit, or the shooting itself. Tallahassee Police Chief Lawrence Revels said Eichner used a handgun in the alleged shooting and that he also had a shotgun with him, though it was not clear if he had actually fired that weapon. Again, this investigation is ongoing. The police chief there saying he does not know of a possible motive just yet. In the meantime, I do want to get to some of the other big stories as we continue our coverage here of the shooting on the Florida State University campus that killed 2 people and wounded 6 others. Now, we know that alerts were sent out to students on the campus within about a minute of those first gunshots, including posts all over social media. I do want to talk a little bit more about the response overall. So let's bring in Gina Rofero.
All right. So that was the main thing, is I wanted you to hear a little bit about him. Let's see here. I do have some updates for you guys. I'm going to run it here. Just 1 minute, folks. Just trying to get some things brought up. Here we go. One second, guys. Just trying to get this to load. Sorry. Hey, yay. Hold on. So I got a little bit of an update for you on the Mickey Steins, Kevin Mullins case, the sheriff that shot the judge. Not much. I've been following it as close as I can, and there's not much coming out with it yet, but there's a little bit of an update here with it for those of you that are still interested in following that one. Here we go.
Just crimes involving these high-level officials in this town. How does that connect back to the sheriff shooting the judge?
Well, I think the important key to remember is that earlier in this week, there was a deposition. My client was to give a deposition in the civil case. Leading up to that deposition, there's multiple witnesses, family, members of the community, folks that he worked with that saw my client in the struggle, the stress, the strain, the sleepless nights he had. He felt very much threatened about what he might say. Would he say too much that would put his family in danger? You heard Sabrina Atkins in that interview just before you switched to speak with me. She talked about the dangerous men there. So this deposition takes place on Monday. And as the week goes on, Mickey continued to be in fear that he had said something, or that, further discovery in that civil case would something he would say would ruffle the feathers of some dangerous men. And ultimately, he was in fear for the safety of his wife and his daughter.
And see, I got who all was involved in this here, you guys. This is my problem. There's Captain Jenks. Good to see you, brother. Great to have you back today. Happy Easter to you, my friend. He was worried he'd say too much and it would put his family in danger, which may relate back to him saying that they're trying to kidnap his wife and daughter. Who are the other people involved in this? That's where I want to know now. I know that we know the judge was involved, okay? It's been stated already that he was involved in that situation. Who else could have possibly been involved in this? That he had that much fear for his life and or his family's? That's interesting to me. I'd like to know. And there was a person that come into the chat more than once that lives in this town, that stated that there's a lot of rumor, per se, about a lot of very powerful people being involved in things like this. Curious. Who much more powerful than a judge? The mayor? Is there something else involving this? You know what I mean? So we're going to be looking at that too, Aurora. That's one of the next stories we're covering, by the way. So yeah, guys, this is interesting to me. It just gets deeper and deeper as we go on, you know?
I think what you see there is the result of that.
Welcome, Mark.
Yeah, and just so people understand, there was this civil lawsuit ongoing. Again, I talked about the corruption and the deputies accused of having sex with inmates and all sorts of shady stuff. So there's the civil suit that's ongoing. There had already been a criminal investigation and arrests, and the sheriff was being called in for a deposition. And you're saying that he was concerned about it. Did he have information about other high-level people, perhaps even the judge, that were involved in all of this? Is that why he was so concerned?
Well, I think the bigger concern was from other people as to what he might say. And I think certainly there was information that that Mickey had that he knew that other people didn't want to be made public. And if in fact they felt that some of the stuff that he said during the deposition hurt them or exposed them for what they were doing, then there certainly was a threat that Mickey perceived, one that was both perceived and real. And he was afraid for the safety of his wife and daughter.
Were they trying to pin any of these sex crimes on him? Does that play into it?
Well, I think the bigger concern that we're talking about here, I've not seen any evidence that my client.
I thought about that before, Alicia, and I agreed with you. It's strange that his attorney was talking, but I think it's almost to help him, because if the attorney is putting this out there and something were to happen to Steins, they would kind of have an idea as to who or why, what happened to him. Therefore, he's kind of putting it out in front of there, stating, hey, there's some higher ups involved in this, so on and so forth. So if something were to happen, to Mickey himself in a bad way, they could start looking into higher up people. So that could be why he is talking, to get out in front of it. You know what I mean? Just a thought.
Client was implicated in any of the corrupt sex practices that they had. I've not seen anything to that degree, but the fear was that Mickey is under oath. What will they ask him? What will he say in response? Will he talk about? You're talking about a district judge's chambers where there's a live security feed as a result of what was going on back there. That's unheard of. And it just speaks to, the level of things that were happening behind the scenes that these folks would very well could cause physical harm to keep secret. And Mickey was placed in this situation, and simultaneously, because of the stress, because of other factors that I don't want to get into tonight, but his mental health had taken a toll as well. And so what you see is a result of both extreme pressure that was placed upon him, the fear of what other people might do around him, and the impact of mental health as well.
Did he know something about the judge being involved in all of this and this whole sex scandal? I mean, is that why he did this? I mean, because like you said, he knew he was on camera.
You see how whenever they bring this up, every time this attorney is given an interview, the attorney kind of avoids certain subjects, but the look on his face kind of tells the answer, in my opinion. It's almost every time. So,
I mean, he was right in the chambers. Is there something he knew about this judge?
I think that certain people within that community were concerned that he would say things that will be harmful to the people surrounding the judge and the folks in the courthouse at large. And what you see is the result of a man who believed that his wife and daughter had been or would be kidnapped or.
And I got to tell you guys, I don't like saying this out loud too often without any kind of real proof, but the guys that were in the room in the judge's quarters before Mickey shot Mullins is interesting to me. There was a pastor that was in there talking to them. There was also a detective that was in there, and another court official that was in that room in that video before he shot him. And I gotta wonder how many of these people actually were involved in this situation before this all went down. You know what I mean? That's very interesting to me. I mean, I've heard worse things from pastors and religious people being involved in stuff. So it could be. you know, and were they all having conversations about this stuff? Who knows? I'm sure it's going to come out during this trial, which we are definitely following this trial. As long as it's shown out on here, we're going to follow it from the beginning to the end because I'm very curious to see how this unfolds. I wouldn't be shocked if it was half the leadership, commissioners and you know, people like that. Alicia, I'm 100% with you on that one. Cap says, in my opinion, Stein's either going to get hospitalized or get manslaughter. They're going to do something. I think if they can prove why he was in the mode that he was in, you know, then yeah, I agree with you on that, Cap. Very possibly. It's going to be something minimal, I think, if they can prove why he did it.
Killed and hurt. And, you know, at that point, he had not been able to get in contact with them. And he was scared for their safety. And, you know, and that's why we said from the beginning, this is classic EED at worst. And at best, we think it's a criminal responsibility, insanity defense that's there.
Thanks for watching. Go to join and
All right, well, that's it for now, but there's more to come on this. Like I said, I've been following this as close as I can. There hasn't been a lot coming on this, unfortunately, but as it comes out, I will definitely be dropping it, and we're going to be going through it because it's definitely a case that I've been interested in from the beginning. Excuse me. Let's see here. Hospitalized. He could be there 5 to 15. So what's the right? Yeah, good point, Cap. Very good point. Very good point. All right, guys, let me jump into this here. This new situation, new case I've been following that just popped up recently for me, at least that I saw. It's very interesting as well. Aurora brought it up a little bit here. I'll start off with this segment here, and then we'll move forward with it.
In the last 2 months, 7 bodies have been found around New England. And while law enforcement is not connecting the cases, people online have other ideas. Boston 25 News reporter Bob Ward joins us live in Brockton. Bob, the talk is getting loud enough for police to address these rumors.
Rachel, you know, more and more people online are paying attention to this. They are concerned that some or all of these cases might be connected and that a serial killer might be striking in New England. In some corners of social media, like Facebook, the idea that a serial killer could be on the prowl in New England is getting more popular. This Facebook group, New England SK, has nearly 9,000 members. And in other forums, people are posting their concern that some or all of the bodies recently found in New England might be connected to each other. Since the beginning of March, 7 bodies have turned up in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. Some of the bodies are unidentified remains. The bodies discovered in Groton and Killingly, Connecticut, are close to a Rhode Island case. So far, law enforcement is not connecting the cases. However, the talk.
Well, we know this isn't Harriman, Rex Harriman. So we got something else going on here. And this is right in our one of our community member, Phil. This is right in her backyard. This is kind of scary. Welcome, Walt. Good to see you. Yeah, this is quite interesting. And you know what? This is kind of crazy to me because you guys know how I am with the Lady Bird Lake case. This is almost the opposite. This is all women, and it looks almost like the Lisk scenario. It's crazy.
Talk online has grown so loud that recently Groton, Connecticut police issued a statement that said in part, regarding references circulating on social media about incidents in the state of Rhode Island, we currently have no information connecting those events to any of the incidents in Groton.
Welcome, Taylor.
Here in Massachusetts, the discovery of a human skull in Plymouth and another set of remains in Framingham is also being looked at. In the late 1980s, a serial killer struck the New Bedford area. 9 women murdered, 2 missing. Author Maureen Boyle covered the case at the time and wrote a book about it. She is skeptical that a new serial killer might be at work right now.
Just because you have bodies found in a variety of places in New
England, good to hear, Balak,
does not mean that there's a serial killer on the loose in the area.
Boyle is concerned that online speculation can hurt people.
This is not a game. These involve real people, these involve real families. This is serious business.
I checked on the two Massachusetts cases. On that body that was found in Framingham recently, the district attorney's office is saying a case is under investigation, but it does not appear that person was a victim of foul play. Now, as for the remains of the human skull that was found in the woods of Plymouth, the Plymouth County DA's office says that case remains under investigation. Reporting live from Brockton tonight, I'm Bob Ward for your local station, Boston 25 News.
Okay, there's that. And we got another one coming up here, too. Thank you, Taylor. Very nice of you. Nice. Good to know. Good to know that at least she was identified. Let me see here. Give you guys a little. There was a woman interviewed via Banfield. Much as she irritates me, as an interesting interview in relation to this. Let's see if this gives any insight into any other possibilities, maybe.
Jane Borowski was 7 months pregnant when she was attacked by the Connecticut River Valley serial killer.
Welcome,
she was
Kat.
stabbed 27 times and miraculously lived to tell about it. It happened in Swansea, New Hampshire in 1988. And it happened after 7 women were found stabbed to death in the same area. All were victims of the same man, and Jane is believed to be his only survivor. She now hosts the podcast Invisible Tears, and she is here with me now live. First of all, my goodness, Jane, I'm so glad that you're here with me, and I cannot believe that you survived 27 stab wounds. I want to ask you about that in a moment, but first, what are your thoughts about the story I presented with 7 sets of remains and officials saying nothing to see here?
I find it suspicious for first. I came across it online about a month ago. And then I started doing some research and I'm like, this is awful suspicious. It just didn't sound right that they weren't connected. And the law enforcement was just so adamant about, all these cases not being suspicious. It just didn't sound right to me.
You have such a stake in a story like this, and I want to ask you, what is the responsibility here between law enforcement not creating panic and yet law enforcement making sure that people like you and I are safe when we're out and about?
I think if they come forward and are honest that there may be some suspicion.
It could be, Alicia. It could be. I don't know, but it's creepy if nothing else. It really is. Rhode Island housewife, welcome. Good to see you, dear. 20 minutes from Groton, Connecticut. Didn't hear about this until late last week. Right. It's just because police don't want people out there knowing about it, in my opinion. Welcome got me stumped. But it needs to be heard, obviously. That's why I'm bringing it to you, and it's something I'm really interested in.
Suspicious activity going on. I don't think that's going to spread panic, but what I think it will do is make people more vigilant. Like, make sure they do the buddy system when they're going jogging or going for walks, or letting somebody know where they are at all times. I think it's about keeping yourself safe. And so as far as them saying, well, they're afraid to, spread fear, I think the opposite. I think they should be letting people know that, you need to be, more aware of your surroundings and be safe.
Yeah, and they should talk to you because, my God, your attack, 27 stab wounds at the hand of the Connecticut River Valley serial killer, and it is still unsolved, Jane. I didn't realize that. That person is still out there. Actually, let me ask you, do you think that person is still out there, or do you think that person may be dead by now?
I don't know. Supposedly I'm the last one that he attacked. I'm the only survivor. And I don't know if he's still around, if maybe he's incarcerated or maybe he's dead or I don't know. I don't know if he's still around or not. I really have no idea.
We've been putting up two of these images. To me, they look very different. Is there one of these two images that looks more like the man that you remember, or how is your memory after such a horrifying attack?
The one on the left is the actual composite that I did. The one on the right is something totally different. But the one on the left is definitely the composite that I did.
Yeah, because the one on the right looks completely different. The hairline looks different. Everything looks different. Maybe it was the police trying to.
Yeah, this happened to her in 1988. So if it's the same person, I would imagine they'd be quite a bit. They were young then. Could still be. Or this is a copycat. It could be one of the two. I don't know. Welcome, official. Or something completely different, but still.
To suggest maybe this is what he looks like if he's got a wig or glasses on. But can I ask you, how on earth did you survive 27 stab wounds?
I was pregnant. I was 7 months pregnant. And I truly believe I survived because of my daughter. My daughter wanted to live.
Wow.
So it gave me the strength to live and to survive. You know, she ended up surviving also, which she blessed me with a granddaughter. So yeah, I feel blessed and I'm thankful that I did survive.
I'm going to call you again because we're going to continue to watch this story as the details come out. Jane Borowski, thank you so much for being alive and for being here tonight.
Thank you.
One moment. I'm just trying to give you what I found on this, putting it all together, bits and pieces of stuff. And this one goes back 10 days ago too, so it's been a minute. Come on, Walt. Let's be these aren't things to joke about, okay?
New details tonight on a disturbing discovery in Killington, Connecticut. That's right over the Rhode Island line.
We're talking about
We need to be appropriate with this stuff.
the third confirmed case of human remains discovered relatively close to one another. Tonight, team's Sam Reed is live in Connecticut at State Police Barracks with more. Sam?
Dan Patrice, Connecticut State Police tell me this investigation actually started yesterday afternoon when human remains were discovered along Woodward Street. All day Thursday, residents near Woodward Street in Killingly watched as they say investigators combed a wooded area near the dead-end road. State police confirming tonight around 4:30 Wednesday afternoon, human remains were found in the area.
I've lived here, like I said, 15 years here, over 20 years in the town, nothing like this.
The Eastern District Major Crimes Unit and dozens of law enforcement officers blocked off the potential crime scene. The remains have not yet been identified or the cause of death.
I think it's something weird that happened like that with a homeless.
Others thinking otherwise. This marks the third case of human remains found in recent weeks, all within a 30-mile radius of one another.
It's crazy. I didn't know it was this close. I had heard about some of the other ones from friends, and honestly, I was hoping that it was just one of those crazy myths that you hear about.
A little more than 2 weeks ago, along Plainfield Pike in Foster, Rhode Island, just 10 miles from tonight's scene, the remains of Michelle Romano were found on the side of the road. She went missing out of Warwick. Rhode Island State Police are calling her death suspicious. They're now asking for the public's help to look at things like trail and dash cameras, as well as drones.
It definitely seems a little too coincidental. It seems like, I don't know, your just mind goes to right to that it's got to be a pattern.
About 3 weeks ago, unidentified remains were found outside of a cemetery in Groton, Connecticut. That, too, at last check, is still an active investigation. With the news of all three cases in recent headlines, some residents are uneasy.
I mean, it is kind of scary when you think about it, but I think we'll be safe.
With investigators on scene in Killingly for what residents say was nearly 24 hours, the timetable alone may raise red flags.
I would hope that maybe that they were here that long because they were making sure that they were dotting their I's, crossing their T's, stuff like that.
Now, there is no confirmation that any of these cases are related. We are expected to receive more information from police regarding their investigations in coming days. Live in Killingly, Connecticut tonight, Sam Reed, NBC 10 News Night Team.
Okay. Hold on. Just trying to put them all together.
State Police confirmed today the remains found in Killingly this week were in fact human. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Kalunian. And I'm Kayla Fish. That scene is not even 20 minutes from the state line in Foster, where the town saw a major police investigation after the remains of a missing Warwick woman were discovered at the end of March. And there have been similar discoveries in other parts of eastern Connecticut. Our Sheena Loshuto takes us through the details we know on these cases so far. Sheena.
Well, first there's Foster, then Killingly, Groton, and New Haven. They've all seen police investigations in recent weeks following the discovery of human remains. But so far, police say they don't have any reason to believe things are connected. A quiet dead-end road in Killingly becomes a police scene on Thursday. Detectives collecting evidence and taping off part of the neighborhood. Connecticut State Police say they got a call on Wednesday saying someone found skeletal remains near the railroad tracks in the wooded area off of Woodward Street. Authorities now confirm those remains are in fact human, but they haven't said anything else about the circumstances or who the remains belong to. We're back on Woodward Street here in Killingly. When we were here last night, this entire area was blocked off by authorities. Today, here's a closer look. We saw investigators going in and out of this wooded area here. You can see there's a red gate up now that says no trespassing. Police do want to point out there's no information suggesting this scene is connected to the recent similar discoveries in both Rhode Island and Connecticut. At the end of March, Rhode Island State Police identified the remains found in Foster in a wooded area off of Plainfield Pike as 56-year-old Michelle Romano. A woman reported missing out of Warwick. Police say her death is being investigated as suspicious. Separately, police in Groton, Connecticut continue investigating after human remains were found in a cemetery there in March. No ID in that case yet. But with similar cases around, police there note this.
As far as Rhode Island, trying to connect it with people here in Groton, and there just is no information that would indicate that that's the case.
Now, with the Killingly case, state police told me today there is no known threat to the public. Reporting live in studio tonight, I'm Sheena Loshuto, 12 News.
Okay, I think there's one more that leads into explains the DNA side to this. Hold on. Nope, wait a minute. No. Sorry, guys, a little slow right now. There was another thing that was linked to me. Hold on. This isn't it, but it's from 6 years ago. And I wondered if it was maybe linked. I don't know, but it could. I don't know. I don't know at all, but I'll show it to you and see what you guys think possibly.
Police continue to investigate if there's a connection between the discovery of human remains found in a nearby cemetery on Mitchell Street last month and the intensive scene investigation at an apartment just blocks away from where that body was found. Citizens are now taking to social media to share their concerns about a potential serial killer. Fox 61's Valerie Moravi spoke with neighbors and has the latest.
Well, people from all over New England are taking to social media to share their concerns about the discovery of several human remains of women across New England. Now they tell me they're scared this could be the result of a potential serial killer. With the permission of these two TikTok users, the videos show their concerns about multiple bodies found across New England.
There is a very active serial killer stalking both women and men in southern New England right now. The human remains that were found in the cemetery were just identified as a female between the ages of 40 and 60.
On a Facebook post, Groton police announced the discovery of human remains on Mitchell Street, adjacent to the entrance of Colonel Cemetery on March 19th. Police say the victim was identified as a female. On April 17th, police say a concerned citizen called police to an apartment on Allen Street, just 2 blocks away from where the previous body was found. The scene investigation also led to numerous rumors of another body discovery, but police confirmed no body was found. On April 16, Providence police say they recovered a body from the Connecticut River. Social media users and several neighbors I spoke to who did not want to be on camera are now asking local police to address the public if they should be aware of potential serial killer across New England. Now, Groton police are reminding people to stay vigilant and cautious of their surroundings. And if anyone has any information about this incident, police are urging people to contact them. More details at fox61.com. In Groton, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
It's a little wild. Let me see. I thought that was, oh, this is the one from 6 years ago. I just wondered if this could have possibly been okay, or I mean, not okay. I'm sorry. Jesus, guys. I'm thinking about two things at once. Been related. It may not be, but it was just a thought that hit me when I seen this pop up. It linked to me when I was looking into the stuff that was just found. It linked me to this too. So it's interesting at the very least. Hold on a minute here.
England's Unsolved with Bob Ward.
The New Bedford Highway killing case is one of the biggest investigations in Massachusetts history. More than 35 years later, we still don't know the serial killer's identity. But as the brother of one of the victims told me, people are still talking and tips are still flowing. Along the highways and off-ramps of the New Bedford area, a deadly secret is still tightly kept. It is along these lonely stretches of road that a serial killer plied his deadly trade in the late 1980s. 9 murdered women were recovered from this area. To this day, 2 remain missing. These are the dumping grounds of the New Bedford Highway killer, a killer who to this day remains unmasked. Did you ever think this case would go unsolved for this long?
No, I never did.
Wayne Perry is the brother of Deborah DeMello. In November 1988, her body was found at the Reed Road exit off Route 195 in Dartmouth. It's believed Deborah vanished in July, 4 months before her remains were found.
So she went out to work one day and she just didn't come back.
Get away from me! The late New Bedford lawyer, Kenneth Pont, was the only person ever arrested in the case, but that charge was ultimately dropped. There have been other suspects, but no arrests.
I'm very, very surprised that this case has not been solved.
Maureen Boyle is the author of Shallow Graves, The Hunt for the New Bedford Highway Serial Killer. At the time of the killing spree, Maureen was a reporter for the New Bedford Standard Times. Her book is sparking new interest in the case.
Why do you think it is? Why do you think the New Bedford Highway killer has not been identified?
Because investigators were slow to start in the investigation, because they weren't able to identify early on that they had a serial killer in the city.
Until now, it's believed no one ever caught a glimpse of the killer. But through his Facebook page devoted to the case, Wayne Perry heard from a man with an intriguing story. The man said back in the summer of '88, he passed a van pulled over near Horseneck Beach in Westport. He said he saw 2 men struggling to throw away a large object out of the van and into the tall grass.
He said it looked to him like it was a body wrapped up in some sort of material.
It is the same general area where victim Mary Rose Santos was later found in 1989. Wayne shared pictures of the suspects with the tipster. The person twice picked out the same face.
I believe the guy 100%.
The tipster later died in a house fire. Wayne passed the information along to the DA's office.
DA was given all this information back in 2017. They've done nothing with it.
Maureen Boyle tells me since her book was published, she's also received tips that she's passed along to authorities.
Do you think the highway killer will ever be identified?
Yes, at some point, highway killer will be identified.
Why do you feel so certain about that?
People cannot get away with murder. They just can't. And from what I know of the investigators in the cold case unit, they are very determined to bring justice to victims.
Yeah, that's very true.
The Bristol
Cap.
County
Very
DA's
true.
office has said this case is still open and active, and their website urges people to contact the Mass State Police Cold Case Unit at 1-855-MA
Yeah, exactly.
Solve. For New England's Unsolved, I'm Bob Ward.
So, like I said, I don't know that there's any relation to this and that older case from 6 years ago, but who knows? You know what I mean? Is it a long haul trucker? Is it somebody that takes breaks in between these things the way they're finding it? I don't know, but I do know it's a little in. Now, this here too is something I found with this. Like I said, when I start looking into something like this, I start looking into it. Okay, different things that are kind of the same around it. I don't know, you guys. I'm gonna let you guys see this and see what you think, and I'm definitely gonna be looking into this and following this as much as I can, because of the likenesses to certain things.
Information. Thanks for joining us for this week's investigation. Though the name can be a bit deceiving, the Connecticut River Valley stretches across 5 different states throughout New England, as well as 1 Canadian province. In fact, it's the longest river in New England and supplies the Long Island Sound with 70% of its fresh water. This, of course, gives way to fertile farmland and thick, dense foliage covering its path. Most people listening have probably never even heard of places like Claremont, New Hampshire, or Hartford, Vermont, but would be quick to find the beauty in their tranquil vibe and quaint living aesthetic. If one were to look past the exterior, however, and look into the past of small villages and towns dotting the valley, they would find something much more sinister and heinous. This is the unsolved murders of 7 women in New England, or more frequently referred to as the Connecticut River Valley Killer. Even with the fact New Hampshire had the lowest crime rate in the country at the time, even when crime was at a national high, doesn't mean it wasn't happening there. Over the course of 1978 to 1987, women began to go missing and soon be found dead, covered in stab wounds. Unconnected at first, the pieces slowly began to fit together, and by the time the killings abruptly stopped, the community knew a serial killer had stalked the estuaries and villages many call home. On October 24th, 1978, 27-year-old Catherine Milliken had intended to spend her afternoon in New London, New Hampshire, at the Chandler Brook Wetland Preserve. She was an avid bird watcher and enjoyed photographing them when she had the free time to do so. She was witness in the park that afternoon, but the next day her body would be found, covered with at least 29 stab wounds. Her corpse lay just yards from where she was last seen. In July of 1981, Mary Elizabeth Critchley, 37, was a student at the University of Vermont who had been dropped off near exit 13 on the Massachusetts Turnpike. She intended on hitchhiking back to Waterbury, Vermont, where she lived. However, she never arrived home. Her body was discovered in the woods off of Unity Stage Road in Unity, New Hampshire on August 9th, 1981, just 1 month later. Due to the summer heat, a cause of death was not able to be determined, but due to the location of the body in relation to a future victim, this case has been linked to the River Valley Killer. In May of 1984, 16-year-old Heidi Martin, who was the youngest victim in this case, was last seen jogging on Martinsville Road in Heartland, Vermont. Her body would be found in a swampy area not far from Heartland Elementary. Her autopsy showed multiple stab wounds to the heart, as well as suspected signs of drowning. Dirt, silt, and water were found in her throat and lungs. It's possible she was not immediately killed by the multiple stab wounds and eventually succumbed to the water in the brook where the killer had left her. She was linked to the case due to the location of her body and the method of killing. Just 10 days later, on May 30th, 1984, Bernice Courtmarsh, just 17, was last seen in Claremont, New Hampshire. Similar to Critchley, Bernice was hitchhiking on New Hampshire Route 12 with the intention of getting to her boyfriend's house in Newport, New Hampshire, roughly a 10-mile journey which would have taken about 20 minutes. She was reported missing the next day, but her deceased body would not be located for another 2 years, just off of Cat Hole Road in Claremont. Although the remains were skeletal, it could still be determined the cause of death was multiple stab wounds. In a strange course of events, Ellen Ruth Fried, 26 years old, would be the next victim just 2 months later in July of 1984. Ellen was connected to Bernice as she was her part-time personal nurse, as well as a supervising nurse at Valley Regional Hospital, located in Claremont, New Hampshire. Ellen had made a late stop around 2 a.m. near Leo's Market in Claremont to make a phone call to her sister. While on the phone, Ellen mentioned a strange car circling the parking lot. She left a conversation to restart her car, returned to the call, and ended it shortly after. She was reported missing when she did not arrive for her scheduled shift at work the next day. Her car was located shortly after on Jarvis Road, seemingly abandoned, not far from the market where she had made the phone call. There would be no updates to Ellen's case until 18 months later, when her remains would be found near the Sugar River in Kellyville, 8 miles outside of Claremont. Her cause of death was determined to be multiple stab wounds. Signs of sexual assault also seemed probable. Roughly a year later, single mother Eva Marie Morse, 27, was hitchhiking near the border of Claremont and Charleston in New Hampshire, again on Route 12. This is not uncommon for Morse, as she was known to hitchhike this route often to and from work. According to sources, she did not have an easy life and was busy trying to heal the relationship between herself and her 10-year-old daughter, whom she had in her teens. It's often thought that Morse was seen as vulnerable and was also known to associate with unstable or aggressive people in the past. Regardless, she was reported missing after never returning home, and it wouldn't be until almost 9 months later in April of 1986 that her remains would be found. Her probable cause of death was multiple stab wounds. Her throat also appeared to be slit based off of markings on her skeletal remains. This is similar to the manner in which Courtmarsh had been killed, and her body had been located by joggers, just 500 feet from where Critchley's body was located 5 years prior, linking the two cases to the others. 10 days prior to the discovery of Morse's body in April of 1986, 36-year-old Linda Moore was home alone doing yard work and sunbathing in her backyard. Her husband arrived home roughly an hour after she was last seen by neighbors to find her body in the living room, covered in at least 25 stab wounds. It was evident a vicious struggle had taken place at the scene of the crime. Moore attempted to defend herself while being stabbed repeatedly in the neck area as well as the chest. Despite the resistance, the stabbing patterns were too similar to other victims for police to ignore. Though this case varies from the others, it is deemed connected for this reason, even though the victim was not in a remote area. It also gave police the first eyewitness testimony of the suspected killer. Neighbors were quick to mention a man seen lingering in the area prior to the attack, a slightly stocky younger male, between 20 and 25 years old, with rimmed glasses and dark hair. A composite sketch is whipped up and circulated shortly thereafter. It is thought that the killer was interrupted or left feeling vulnerable after Linda fought back, leaving him no time to move or discard the body, but this seemingly did not deter him from striking again. In January of 1987, 38-year-old nurse Barbara Agnew was on her way home from a ski trip with friends. She had left earlier in the day from Stratton Mountain, near Stratton, Vermont, and traveled down I-91 on her way home to Norwich. Around 10 p.m., she pulled into a rest stop, only about 10 miles from her final destination. It is not known why she stopped. Some speculate it was due to the weather, a possible snowstorm being the reason as to why she felt the need to do so, or perhaps she just needed to relieve herself or simply make a phone call. Regardless, her abandoned BMW would be spotted by a snowplow driver later that evening at the rest stop, not far from Hartford, Vermont. The driver's side door was left open and signs of blood visible on the steering wheel and back seat. Subsequent investigation was able to turn up some of her bloody clothes in a nearby dumpster, but no sign of Barbara herself. 2 months went by, and in March of '87, her body was located under an apple tree in Hartford, Vermont, approximately 12 miles from the rest area and just 1 mile from where the remains of Heidi Martin were found years prior. She had been stabbed repeatedly in the neck and chest. Defensive wounds were visible, as well as a disabling wound, seemingly to stop the victim from fighting back. By this point, police were hopeful that there would be an end to the murder spree, as each investigation dried up and leads were thin, and eventually, they got their wish. 7 months pregnant, 22-year-old Jane Borowski was returning home from a county fair in Keene, New Hampshire. Feeling thirsty, she pulled over into the lot of a closed supermarket in West Swansea to purchase a soda from the vending machine outside. After getting the soda, she returned to her car, and she noticed a parked Jeep Wagoneer next to her. Upon entering her vehicle, Jane saw the driver of the Jeep.
So at this point, with some of this, if this is all what it is, this is obviously some form of it's either the same exact person or it's a copycat 100%, folks. If it's the same person, then they were, in my opinion, pretty young back in the day. And I don't know, because I can't imagine somebody older being up there in age doing something like this, okay? So they were either pretty young back then or it's an absolute copycat, which is crazy. But I don't know at this point. That's all. That's why I thought some of this was interesting.
In her rearview mirror and was approached. The man quickly asked her if the payphone was working before violently ripping her from her vehicle and berating her with questions as a struggle broke out. The man accused Jane of beating up his girlfriend and demanded to know if she had Massachusetts license plates. She insisted they were New Hampshire plates, but the man began stabbing her repeatedly, over 27 times, before leaving her to die. However, Jane was still able to pull herself back into her vehicle and began driving to a friend's house nearby. As she did, she noticed the Jeep Wagoneer in front of her, and as she pulled into her friend's driveway, the Jeep pulled a U-turn and drove by, inspecting the scene before vanishing as Jane's friends came to her aid. Jane was then transported to the hospital where she was treated, and it was revealed the severity of her injuries. Her jugular vein had been severed, both lungs collapsed, a kidney laceration, and severed tendons in both her hand and knee. Her unborn child survived the attack as well, although she was diagnosed with mild cerebral palsy, most likely due to the traumatic attack. Jane was able to provide detectives with a profile of the attacker as well as the first 3 letters of his license plate, but eventually the case went cold and no new leads were able to be generated. It would seem this final attack, most likely connected to this case due to the stabbing patterns of the attacker, persuaded him to stop the attacks altogether. There are other cases that could possibly be linked to this investigation, but not enough evidence is able to be linked between them. Most of this case is based on geographical consistency, as well as the manner and attack pattern of the killer. He used a knife to kill all his victims, which implies a very personal connection to the attack. Perhaps the killer was familiar with the victims he chose. There is the odd link between Bernice Courtemanche and Ellen Freed, personally knowing each other and then being killed within 2 months of one another. However, the geographic location is your classic small New England community. It's possible lots of people knew one another or knew of each other through friends or mutual acquaintances. This too would also imply that the killer would be from the area and possibly be known to the community. Given the heavily wooded small towns in and around the Connecticut River Valley, the killer seems to have a keen sense of direction and off-the-grid locations that conceal some of their crimes for multiple years. There is also the returning to specific crime scenes to dump new victims, or other victims being dumped in close proximity to previous dump sites. The list of suspects is short and information is thin, but there are some interesting leads to follow. Being just 16 at the time of the first attack, 23-year-old Delbert Tallman admitted to the murder of Heidi Martin in 1985. He then later recanted his statement and said another man had murdered her, but couldn't say who. Tallman was tried for the murder, but quickly acquitted, and still denied the allegations despite his previous confession to police.
Thank you, Hunter's Moon.
There simply isn't enough evidence to tie him to the case despite his statement, but he would later be tried in 1996 for sex crimes related to a minor and jailed again for failure to register as a sex offender. He was released from prison in 2010 and has since fallen off the police radar. Even with his recanted confession and geographic proximity to the killings, he is not pursued as a suspect any longer at this time, unless new information surfaces. In October of 1997, the case resurfaced with new information. 46-year-old Gary Westover, a paraplegic man, made a startling confession. He relayed to his uncle, former Grafton County Sheriff's Deputy Howard Minnan, that he was forced to participate in the murder of Barbara Agnew. According to Westover, he He was picked up by 3 friends on the day of Barbara's murder for a night of partying. Westover said he and the wheelchair he used were loaded into a van and set out to Vermont, where they then abducted Barbara, murdered her, and left her body off of a back road. Minnan shared this information with his wife, daughter, and eventually law enforcement. However, they didn't seem too interested in the confession. Westover died in 1998, and Minnan followed in 2006. Shortly thereafter, Ann Agnew, aunt of Gary Westover and sister of Barbara Agnew, took this information and resubmitted it to law enforcement with a new connection. In December of 2005, a man named Michael Andrew Nicolau had a dispute with his then-wife, Eileen. The couple had been married since 2001, with Eileen frequently going into hiding and being abused or threatened. This was apparently quite a normal coincidence for the couple, but this time Eileen had her shoulder broken. She decided to run from Nicolau to avoid further abuse to her and her children. She asked her sister for help and fled to Tampa, where she began staying with them. For 3 weeks, Eileen thought her troubles were behind her, and she was ready to move on with her life and away from Nicolau. But in an unfortunate turn of events, she was mistaken. Nicolau had been hot on her trail and had figured out where she fled to. He was familiar with the residence and barged in late one night with a gun. Eileen's sister then arrived home to the residence and could hear screaming and pleas for help. Sensing trouble, she called law enforcement, who quickly arrived at the scene and entered the home, only to find Nicolau pointing a long-barreled weapon at them. They retreated outside, now facing a hostage situation rather than a domestic disturbance. Shortly thereafter, gunshots rang out. They attempted to reach Nicolau on his cell phone, but the calls went to voicemail. The tactical response team entered the home to find the deceased body of Eileen Nicolau. Michael Nicolau was also deceased, an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Another woman in the house, Taryn Bowman, who was the stepdaughter of Nicolau and Eileen's child from a previous marriage, had been shot, but was still alive and transported to the local hospital where she recovered. Police ran Nicolau's information through the database and found that this was not his first issue with violence. Nicolau was a Vietnam veteran, where he served as a helicopter pilot, but had been discharged while on active duty due to an ongoing investigation. The helicopter piloted by Nicolau had been flying too low over the Mekong Delta, where they had dropped several bombs and used machine guns, causing unknown travesties. The charges against Nicolau were dropped, however, when he returned home and began treatment for PTSD. In 1988, Nicolau married his first wife, Michelle Ashley. In statements to family members, Michelle described her husband as controlling and possessive. She expressed multiple times that she intended on leaving him. At one point she did so, but she was stalked by Nicolau until she returned home to him. She mentioned to her family she was scared for her life, but intended on leaving him again after her sister's wedding. Shortly after the wedding, Michelle disappeared, and the family reported her missing. Nicolau was investigated, but at first denied even knowing her. When questioned again, he admitted that they had a relationship together, but that she was a, quote, slut, and had run off with a Colombian drug dealer. Nicolau then moved away, leaving their apartment empty and taking their children with him. Even a hitchhiker could catch your eye from time to time. When it comes to the surviving victim, Jane Borowski, she stated that there was, quote, some resemblance between her attacker and Nicolau. When recalling her attack, Borowski mentioned the suspect used a, quote, martial arts grip, end quote, and Nicolau was a competitive wrestler and black belt in karate prior to joining the military. Borowski also stated that the Jeep Wagoneer driven by the suspect had wood panels. Family members of the Nicolaus recall unloading Christmas gifts out of a similar vehicle that same year. In an abandoned baby book left by Michelle Ashley, it's noted that she was treated at the same hospital Barbara Agnew worked at on Thanksgiving 1986. Her body was found in January of 1987, only a few miles from where the Nicolaus celebrated Christmas. Oddly, there has been some comparison to the victim Eva Morse and Nicolaus' second wife, Eileen, stating they seem to resemble each other. In the end, however, regardless of how compelling these clues are, there is no definitive proof linking Nicolau to the murders in the Connecticut River Valley. DNA testing had been ordered in 2018, but there is no information regarding the outcome of that testing. It certainly seems like a stretch that the murders can be pinned on any one individual in the near future. The cases weren't definitively linked for quite some time, and some of the victims are heavily debated to being involved or just separate acts of violence. For now, a killer goes unpunished, and the safe, quaint villages of the Connecticut River Valley live on in a shroud of mystery as to who stalked their forest, preying on innocent women. If you have any information that could lead to an arrest in this case, please contact Crime Stoppers. Perhaps it could be you who holds the missing link.
Okay, so quite interesting. I thought, that it does flow with the rest of that. Welcome, Marty. Thank you for being here with us. Appreciate you very much. Demon Dog, great to see you as well. Crazy situation, guys. So like I said, with that one, I will be following up with that and trying to keep up to see if there's anything new that comes up with that as we go along. And I believe it was 8 months ago, the FBI they've been looking at this for a while and going along with the highway killings, so on and so forth. And I believe that they're coming together. Just saying. Let me see here. All right. Give me a minute here. Let's see. Okay. Just to give another update via Long Crime. One moment, guys. The Carmelo Anthony situation. Hang on. We covered pretty in depth the other day. The Anthony and Metcalf situation. Got into that. Long Crime did a segment on it that I thought was, the way they put it together, was pretty interesting. So I'd like to kind of review that with you guys too. But we're going to be following up with that whole the New England situation pretty closely, guys. So be prepared for that as well, as much as I can. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely, Alicia. That's something that really caught my attention pretty quick too. And there's so much more to it than I thought there was at first when I first started looking into it. I don't know about this one. I didn't get I was scanned through it, so I didn't see it all, but hopefully not. I'll say that much. Hopefully not. So we'll see. But that other one, you definitely are going to be following pretty closely.
In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack.
You know what? It has too already, you guys. It's kind of a damn shame, as we see, happens all the time. Here we are again. So Long Crime, like I said, they put this together in a segment on their own, and puts a little bit of everything together with both sides of the families. So that's kind of important to me that we get to see it on both sides. Yeah, we're definitely going to. Definitely.
Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about.
The family of a star athlete turned murder suspect accused of killing a fellow athlete at a track meet now is speaking out in this news conference, saying they've become the victim of threats. This video per KDFW. And at that news conference, a shocking moment. The victim's father, there in person, he was escorted out by police. The suspect in this case is no longer in custody. He's out on bond after a decision that some have called controversial by the judge to lower it by $750,000. It's a move that's now made that judge the target of internet hate, raising security concerns. And we'll also talk about the suspect's family and what they said about accusations they've used money from a crowdfunding website to boost their lifestyle including the accusation they moved into a $900,000 home. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. We have a lot to update you on in a case that we've been following out of Texas, in the Dallas area, in the death of Austin Metcalf, a high school athlete who was allegedly murdered by another athlete whose name is Carmelo Anthony. Let's talk about Metcalf first. He was a star athlete in football, but also in track, which is why he was at the track meet on April 2nd. He was MVP of his high school's football team. He was also an A student. He died after being stabbed at that track meet in Frisco, Texas on April 2nd. Now, the suspect in this case was a fellow athlete at this track meet competing for another high school. His name's Carmelo Anthony. He's charged with murder. This is video of him leaving jail this week after he posted bond. This video from WFAA TV. Now, the reason that Carmelo was able to post bond was it was significantly lowered after a court appearance this week. Judge Angela Tucker lowered it from $1 million to $250,000. Tucker did not allow cameras in the courtroom, but according to KDFW TV, Anthony's attorney said $1 million bond was too high and it wasn't necessary to keep Anthony from fleeing the charges. The attorney also argued, quote, "This family needs to be able to survive." Prosecutors argued that bond should be kept at $1 million because they say that is the standard bond amount for murder cases in Collin County, Texas. In the wake of the decision, the backlash against Judge Tucker has been fierce. You can see her account on X is now private. Collin County, Texas also put this out on social media saying, quote, "We are aware of a social media post on this platform that appears to dox a sitting judge. Sharing a judge's private information is a crime and will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law." Tucker is a Republican and she's the first Black judge in Collin County, which is near Dallas. She reportedly said in court during Anthony's most recent bond hearing that the security surrounding this case is already the most she has seen in her career. The backlash that Judge Tucker is receiving is so strong that according to TMZ, the FBI is now involved and she's getting extra security. Another big development in this case this week was the news conference that Carmelo Anthony's family held. Before we get into what took place there, I have to tell you about how we got to this point. We have police documents that say the track meet that Metcalf and Anthony were at, competing for different high schools, got delayed because of weather. Metcalf's team was under a tent waiting out the weather when Anthony went under that tent as well. This is what police say happened next. They say that Anthony was told to move, and then he reached into his bag and said, quote, "Touch me and see what happens." Metcalf then touched Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony then, according to a witness, says, quote, "Punch me and see what happens." Metcalf then grabbed Anthony again, and that is when witnesses say that Anthony took a knife out of that backpack and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest. Austin then grabbed his chest and called for help. He would die in his twin brother's arms. Here is what his twin brother told WFAA TV.
He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest.
Anthony.
That kid, his twin brother, that's horrible. I can't even remotely think to imagine what he's going through. That's horrifying to me. Absolutely horrifying.
He is arguing that all of this happened in self-defense. What he said to police when they first made contact with him, though, that really could come into play in this trial. One officer wrote that when they first made contact with Anthony, they told him to put his hands in the air, and Anthony allegedly said, quote, "I was protecting myself." The officer also said Anthony told him, quote, "He put his hands on me." But then an officer says when he radioed in that he had the alleged suspect, Anthony said, quote, "I'm not alleged, I did it." Police say Anthony ditched the knife and ran before he was arrested by officers who note in their reports that Anthony was hysterically crying when arrested and asked if Metcalf would be okay. Anthony was charged with murder. Anthony initially was held on $1 million bond. That is until Judge Tucker's decision this week. So much of this case already is being tried in the court of public opinion. And a major example of that is the amount of crowdfunding money that has been raised, especially for Anthony's defense. Roughly $460,000 has been given to a fund on the site Give, Send, Go to raise money for Carmelo Anthony's defense. Now, Give, Send, Go, it's similar to a GoFundMe, but they have much looser community guidelines. GoFundMe does not allow pages for people to raise money for a legal defense if they're charged with a violent crime, which is why in cases like this one, you see the crowdfunding happening on Give, Send, Go. Anthony's Give, Send, Go page was launched by his family who write, quote, "We are grateful for your support during this incredibly difficult time for Carmelo Anthony and his family. The fundraiser has been established to provide comprehensive assistance to the Anthony family as they navigate the many challenges surrounding Carmelo's case." Prosecutors asked Anthony's father during the bond hearing why the family wasn't using the money to get Carmelo out of jail when his bond was at $1 million. To which the father reportedly replied that the site was not a, quote, bond fund. That was according to WFAA. This week, Anthony's family appeared at a news conference with the family spokesperson. Carmelo Anthony's mom spoke. She said that she, her husband, and Carmelo's 3 younger siblings have become the victims of threats. This is video per KDFW.
Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to.
Anthony's mom also responded to a report that her family moved into a $900,000 house, according to Daily Mail. She says they have not received a dime of the money that has been crowdfunded for her son's defense.
The public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime.
Another very notable moment at this news conference happened before it began, and it was Austin Metcalf's dad appearing in person in sunglasses, standing in front of cameras. It actually delayed the news conference from starting, and police had to be called. Take a look at this video from KTVT. That is Jeff Metcalf. You see him there in the sunglasses. The TV station says that he stood there for several minutes. It delayed the start of this news conference, and police were eventually called, who escorted him out of the building. Joining us now to talk about this case is retired Judge Fanon Rucker. It's always great to have you on Law and Crime, and especially in a situation where we have a judge in Texas who has been the victim of threats. She's been doxxed. She needs extra security after a decision related to the bond of Carmelo Anthony. Just first,
I still believe this was premeditated, which is why the knife was brought. Okay, I think he knew what he was doing. He obviously went to the opposite tent where he knew he didn't belong with a knife in his bag. To me, that's in a form of premeditation. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm looking at it a little too harsh, but that's exactly what it looks like to me. I'm just saying.
for you as someone who has been on the bench, you know what it's like. How would you approach this case?
So thanks for having me, and I'm glad to be here. You know, it's regrettable that this is not the first time that we're talking about the idea that a judge who is sworn and obligated to handle their cases with free of bias and any type of personal interest is threatened, is kind of subjected to public clamor about the decisions being made in the case. Again, it's not the first time we've talked about it. We've seen it. We've even seen some violent actions committed against judges for decisions that they make or how they handle cases. Over my career, during the 13 years I was on the bench, I handled over 300,000 cases of all types. And there were some that had public implications or that got a lot of public attention. There were most that did not. And the way that I would handle this case is the way that I handled all of my cases. I would make the decisions that I believe were the most appropriate decisions based on the law and based on the facts presented. As judges, we are held to an ethical canon that prohibits us from being swayed by, again, the public clamor that may exist in any particular decision that we're contemplating. And it's important that we as judges stick to that particular ethical rule.
When you look at a case like this, because so much of it is already being tried in the court of public opinion, how do you approach those types of cases to make sure that the noise that's going on outside is something that potentially doesn't taint a jury pool if this case is tried in Collin County, Texas, where this has been headline news? what is a judge's responsibility there in trying to maintain the order to make sure the defendant gets a fair trial and that potentially justice is served to the family of this young man who was killed?
Yeah. And that is one of the biggest kind of hurdles when it comes to cases of high publicity. Anytime a case, for whatever reason, garners public attention, there are going to be interviews. There are going to be news shows talking about it. There are going to be TV articles. And in our day of social media, my goodness, I've seen no fewer than 30 different versions of this incident just from scouring some parts of social media. It's not something that the courts, I think, have the capacity to contain. So the judges in those instances have a particular duty to ensure when it comes time to pick a jury, that those jurors can proceed to make decisions on the facts and not be tainted by the public information or bias that those public statements may have caused. The lawyers also have a particular duty. What I would suspect, considering, again, how much attention this case has gotten so far, is that by the time this goes to trial, the defense will very likely file for a motion to change venues or to move it to a different county where it may not have gotten as much attention in that particular place as it has. And it'll be up to the judge to hear those arguments and to consider exactly what the basis of that argument and the law in Texas is and make a decision whether it needs to stay there or have the jurors in that particular county make the decision.
Before we get to the decision that the judge in this case made related to Carmelo Anthony's bond, and that's been something that's been at the center of a lot of debate for people who are not in the legal profession, but just for you as a judge, it feels like now, especially in the age of social media, and look, here at Law and Crime, we cover court cases, it's what we do, and it's no longer just about the victim and the defendant or even the defense attorneys. Like, the judge has become a character in the story that is covered by the news media when you have high profile cases. Was that something you felt as a judge, that you and your decisions were part of that story, that almost you're a character? And I know it's not just this is real life, these are real people, but it seems like now the judges are criticized for their decisions more than maybe they were 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, there were some instances where, I knew going into the case that it was being watched and that there was a possibility that I would be criticized or celebrated depending on the nature of the decision that I made. But again, we have a specific ethical canon, and every state has different rules. But as a general proposition, judges are to put aside that noise. They're to disregard that when they're making their decisions. Now, the reality is, and I've said it on here before, and I reiterate it to friends of mine when I'm mentoring them on the bench, we are human. And because we are human, we have to take special care to ensure that we're not being swayed by what we personally experience or how we personally feel, and that we're sticking to those rules and the law when we're making our decisions. Did I feel in instances that my decisions were somehow impacted by my concern about how the public would perceive it? I was very careful not to. And I think I built a strong reputation on that fact. But let me offer something to you. This judge, like many thousands of judges around the country, are elected officials. They are elected by their constituents. She is elected, and she was elected. I believe I read the first African-American judge in that particular county. She was elected by the people in that county who reviewed her record. They knew her name, and they decided this is the person that we want to speak on our behalf in the courts of this particular county. That does weigh heavy when it's time for re-election. How are my constituents going to view what I did? It shouldn't be a consideration, but again, judges are human, and every once in a while, that does seep into the water of consideration, unfortunately. I'm not saying it did here. In fact, I don't believe it did, just because of what I know about bail and the requirements of bail and the considerations. But that is certainly something that colleagues of mine across the country have dealt with.
Yeah, and I've heard
Yeah, that bothers me too. That I just don't think that in any other situation, something like this that is as vile, like as vicious as this, there would be no bail set. Child or not. I mean, he acted in a way that does not put him in the same bracket as a child to me. Therefore, in turn, you should be treated a certain type of way, in my opinion. I'm just saying. So.
We talked to a defense attorney in Texas earlier this week. This judge, very well respected in the community and in the legal community as well. She made a tough decision, probably one she knew there would be a lot of public outcry about, and it was lowering Carmelo Anthony's bond. It was at $1 million. She
Welcome,
lowered it to
RC3.
$250,000, and Carmelo Anthony is able to get out of custody, and he's currently on house arrest. What do you make of that decision? How should people approach viewing that decision in this case?
What we do as a public, we hear the clips, we hear the news clips of instances. We read something on social media and we believe it because we see it on social media. What we don't have access to is all of the information that the police officers have as part of their investigation, because that's confidential law enforcement information that will only come out during trial, and some of it will never come out. What we don't have is all of the information that the prosecutor has received. What we don't have are the private communications between the family and the lawyer who represents the young man, the 17-year-old who's charged here. What we don't have is all the information that the judge has at her disposal and on her desk and in her chambers as she makes the decision what to do with bond. But what we do have is a sensational story that causes all of us to have a particular position based on history, based on our personal history, based on things we've observed or based on things we've experienced. And so we respond, and we respond emotionally. That shouldn't be, unfortunately, that shouldn't be how we respond as a community, but that is unfortunately what we do. And so I think that the judge here, well, first of all, let's understand, what is the purpose of bail? The purpose of bail is not to punish a person who is innocent unless and until proven guilty. The purpose of bail is to ensure that the person actually appears for court. And with bail reform that's taken place over the years, and I was part of bail reform in the state of Ohio when I was on the bench and shortly after I retired, bail should be individualized based on the person's circumstances as reviewed by the court. And I mean financial circumstances. I mean criminal prior history. I mean the heinousness or the benign nature of the offense for which they're being charged. We should be looking at a lot of factors, but not presuming that the person will be found guilty, because that's not what the court system is supposed to be, and that's not the purpose of bail. It's not a pretrial punishment. It's a pretrial procedure to ensure that this case will be heard and that the victim and the defendant will have their day in court. And that's the purpose of bail.
I want to turn to this case, and you're now a practicing attorney since you've retired from the bench. This is a self-defense case. That's the argument that Carmelo Anthony is making about this altercation he had.
I agree with that, Hunter.
At this track meet. From what you've read thus far, what does his defense look like? How strong of an argument is there for self-defense in this case?
Well, again, what we don't have is all the information that Carmelo Anthony's lawyer has and what the prosecutor has. What we know from public stories, again, are 30 different versions of what actually occurred. That they were at a track meet, that they had a prior confrontation, that this young man had been bullied prior by Mr. Metcalf and his brother, that this particular instance, he had a right to be under the tent, and when it was raining and he was told not to, even though somebody else had told him. I mean, there are so many different versions. It's very difficult to know specifically what would be the basis of the self-defense, other than the argument that this young man in Texas had a right to defend himself. And when and under some circumstance he was attacked, believed his life was in danger, and he defended himself. I mean, that's the extent of what I can offer to you that I understand from the defense position.
And that is absolute bullshit. Okay? Absolute bullshit. By the way, I think he screwed up and was going to say 3,000 or 300 and then said 3,000. So I think that's where that overlaid, because there's no way there were 300,000. Just saying. But yeah, like what we just heard there, this was not self-defense. This was not. No, none of this makes any sense, guys. Knowing that there was a previous disagreement between the two, knowing that they're in separate areas, went to the tent, took a knife with him. Why would you take a knife to a track event, period? I don't care where you're at, what the deal is. You don't do it. To me, that is absolute and total premeditation. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry, but, you know, there's no reason for that at all. You don't need a knife to put on track shoes and run a track meet. You don't. Not at all. There was something that he had pre-planned in his mind to do. The kid wasn't bullied, in my opinion, by any means. I can't imagine that happening either. It doesn't make sense to me. So, I don't know. This bothers the hell out of me. Just saying.
But the details, or at what point he would have argued self-defense, or at what point he would have felt that his life was in danger based on what he knew of these individuals' prior history, or what other prior communications or contacts.
Exactly. It almost seems like he wanted that to happen so that he could do this, in a sense, in my opinion, Bemmy. That's what I'm saying.
What confrontation they have, I don't have that information because there's so much stuff out here. The best we can do is suggest more of it is going to come out at trial. More of it is going to come out as discovery is released, and we'll know better why they're claiming self-defense as time goes on.
Yeah,
but I do want to offer, each
Sure.
individual in just about in every state in the country has the right of self-defense. That is a right, self-preservation that each individual has in this country.
If you were defending Carmelo Anthony, and again, there's a lot that we don't know, and there's a lot to your point. I mean, even reading through the police documents, it's witness testimony. It doesn't appear that there was cell phone video of this altercation. So in court, a lot of what we'll piece together what happened will be from what people who were there saw, and there's not going to be that, well, here's video, let's determine what happened based off of the video. Austin Metcalf's dad, his big question I remember he asked was, why would someone bring a knife to a track meet? And that's something that's been talked about a lot. If you were defending Carmelo Anthony and that comes up in court, how do you combat that piece of information that likely he's going to have to face if this goes to trial?
Yep. And certainly the prosecutors will be suggesting and offering the idea that he brought a knife because he expected this confrontation. He was looking for a fight. He was hoping to engage with this individual, which would then argue that this was something planned, almost premeditated. That would be the prosecutor's position. So as a defense attorney,
Bingo, exactly what I said. Almost word for word. That's exactly what I think this is.
I would be arguing and I would be preparing in such a way that I have witnesses to offer the character of this young man and the character of the alleged victim, so that we have a better view of how the two of their relationship actually was molded and what was the nature of it. What I would be preparing for argument in self-defense is not focusing on the idea that he had a knife, because I don't know in Texas or in this particular jurisdiction if it's illegal simply to carry a knife. I mean, as I understand it, he was, some reports I've heard, a member of the track team, although I've heard others that said he wasn't, but I've heard he's a member of the track team. And so is that particular item that he used, the knife, was that something that he used in order to prepare his shoes? You know, I mean, they're running on asphalt. Do they have cleats? And do those cleats have some need to be sharpened in order to be most effective? I mean, there's any number of ways to argue that the reason that he was carrying that knife had nothing to do with the idea.
First off, you don't sharpen cleats with a knife. There's a way to do that, okay? But not with a damn knife. No. And I will not believe that.
That he was going there looking for this young man, or that a confrontation was premeditated, but that knife or that utility object was being carried for other means and not for the purpose of ultimately engaging in murder or in manslaughter.
The Anthony family held a news conference talking about the threats that they've been receiving. It's the first public statements that they have made. there is a big part of this where, a lot is being talked about in the court of public opinion. And if you were, though, the trial attorney, how do you approach a case where there is all of this publicity, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to jurors and whether or not they understand the argument the defense is going to put forward. And you can have all the outside noise that's going on and people's opinions and all of this, but eventually it's going to come down to those jurors in a courtroom. How do you, in preparing your defense, manage the publicity that is likely going to just continue on in this case?
Well, that's what you do. You manage it. There are courses that we take at seminars and at CLE retreats to talk about how to handle high-profile cases. I've been fortunate in my career, particularly on the bench and off the bench, to handle cases that garner quite a bit of publicity. Most of the time, as a plaintiff's attorney, I'm able to kind of write the script on the issues that are being discussed. But there are some times when things start to happen and they are outside of your control. And what the lawyers like myself are taught, and what we teach, is to manage. We're taught in law school, you write the issue. You are the ones who actually write the story. Don't let the story be written about you. And so the narrative that goes out was part of what was being managed when we had that press conference yesterday. I mean, that's the purpose of that. Because if you stay silent as so many things are swirling around, then they continue to get legs. And that lawyer has to be ever mindful of the risk of that jury that we talked about being tainted, so that you can get a group of unbiased individuals who can fairly discuss this case and make a fair decision in that jurisdiction or somewhere else. And so that is part of the management. That's what you do. You focus on advocating for your client, but you also make sure that every once in a while you contain the narrative and you discuss what you can publicly to advocate for your client and your client's position before that jury is impaneled.
And at that news conference yesterday, there was this moment where Austin Metcalf's dad was there. It appeared in protest. I cannot imagine what that man has been going through and just the shock of a midweek track meet and ends up, for whatever the facts will show, whether Carmelo Anthony is convicted or not, this man lost his son. With that said, he shows up in protest. He's escorted out by the Dallas police. From keeping things focused on a trial, how it could play out, these prosecutors have Carmelo Anthony charged with murder. Their mission is to see that he's convicted of murder. What would be your advice if you were the prosecutor to the family of the victim as far as being about how they approach public life as this case is getting so much attention moving forward?
Yeah, I meet with, regrettably, families who have experienced a sudden tragic loss of a loved one. It's very personal for me. And what I have inevitably told every single client and client's family is, as much as possible, stay away from public stories about the case.
One thing I can tell you guys is I looked it up, and there's most what happens here, they don't sharpen the cleats on these, okay? They change them. There's a spike wrench that goes with these that they can turn them in and out, and they just change them out when they if they dull, I guess you could say, for the metal cleat. Okay, so no, it's not a thing, and it's ridiculous that if that's being claimed, that's absolutely insane to me. So moving on.
And even as difficult as it is, avoid engaging with those public stories, because there are going to be a million different comments and stories and legs about your loved one that you won't be able to understand and that you don't want to deal with, and that will send you in places where you don't want to be. I also tell my clients that it is perfectly okay, and in fact, it's encouraged, that you seek the help of professionals whose legal, ethical, professional responsibility it is to assist us as we navigate tragic losses that we didn't expect in our lives. Those individuals can help us to make decisions that are in the best interest of ourselves and our loved ones that we're advocating for. So as a prosecutor, that would be my advice to the family. I know the inclination is to respond to every news story. I know the desire is to hear what people are saying about the case and about the defendant and about your beloved son whose life has tragically been lost. But work hard to avoid doing that, because it could negatively impact the case, but more importantly, it could emotionally negatively impact you.
It's a sad story all around, one that is getting so much attention, and we'll see how the legal process plays out as there is just so much noise surrounding it. Retired Judge Fanon Rucker, thank you, sir, as always, for taking the time to be with us on Law and Crime. We appreciate your perspective on this.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so there's that input from that. Pretty wild, guys. Pretty wild. All right, let's see here. What do we have next here? I don't want to go too much longer. Hold on. That's just ridiculous. If that's going to be a claim, that's insane to me. I'm sorry. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I wanted to show you guys this next. By the way, if I disappear, it's storming really bad right now, so that's why. All right, guys, so check this out. This is pretty wild. I have to agree with you in a sense, Eddie. I definitely do, bud. Bingo. Thank you, Tomboy. That was just sent. There's a fact check done. It says Carmelo Anthony did not have a cleat sharpener instead of a knife. There's zero evidence of that. Anyone spreading this is desperate to rewrite the narrative around this confessed killer. Bingo. And I think we all can see that for what it is. Thank you, Tomboy. It is very dark here right now. It's kind of crazy, folks. And I am never going to cut my grass if it keeps raining like this. So anyway, this is really crazy here. Check this out.
42 years. That is a long time for somebody to be missing. In fact, tomorrow, April 16th, is the very date back in 1983 that marked the last time Karen Scheepers was seen alive. She was 23 years old, hanging out at a bar with some people that she worked with at a bank near Chicago. And at about 1 in the morning, Scheepers got in her car, headed toward home, never arrived. Police used every tool, technique they had at the time to try to find her, but after a couple of months, they had no leads, they had no clues, no hope of finding Karen Scheepers without a miracle. Turns out that miracle was coming. It just had to take 4 decades. Just this year, back in January, the police department in Elgin, Illinois, launched a true crime podcast hosted by 2 real detectives, hoping to get fresh eyes on some old and very cold cases, beginning with Karen Scheepers' disappearance. And amazingly, tips just started pouring in. The podcast detectives went to work. And the very first cold case mystery they spotlighted, mystery no more. Divers found and pulled Karen Scheepers' car from a river 6 miles from the bar where she was last seen 42 years ago. And yes, her remains were inside. I'm joined now by the heroes of this case, Detectives Matt Vartanian and Andrew Houghton from the Cold Case Unit of the Elgin, Illinois Police Department. Together, they host the podcast called Somebody Knows Something. How appropriate is that title? Thank you so much. And Elgin, sorry, my fault. Elgin, Illinois, I apologize.
Thank you for
forgive me. Matt, I want to start with you. Thanks so much for coming on. Matt, I mean, this episode drops in January. 2 months later, you solve the case. I mean, where do you go from here? That's a major breakthrough.
Yeah, we are in the process. We still have a couple months left of this case. So we have roughly 3 to 4 additional episodes that we're going to continue with this case just to try to get additional answers for the family the best that we can. And then we're going to take a breath and just try to figure out what's next for us. You know, we want to make sure, you know, as we said, the family deserves these answers. So does Karen. So let's get the answers if we can do that. It's just a matter of waiting on a few different things with the case.
And I want to pull this up. We have the moment when the car was actually pulled from the Fox River. We'll show it right here because my understanding is you were both there, and you when you looked at that, you were giving Karen's family personal items you found in the car. What was that like for the family, and what was that like for the two of you for this moment?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty emotional moment for everyone. I mean, being able to give some of those items back to her mother, who's 90 years old, was just really great. It was a nice way to kind of bring everything full circle. We were able to give her mother a birthstone ring that Karen wore every day, and the 1977 class of Sycamore High School tassel, like the metal part of her tassel that was hanging from the rearview mirror. We recovered those items, so we were able to give them some things to kind of remember her by. So that was really great.
And it gave him a sense of closure. My gosh. Matt, what was different this time? Why was it solved in 2025 as opposed to 1983? And let me ask you this. Any theories about what happened to Karen?
Yeah, so we wanted to be as thorough as we could be with this case. We took it over roughly about October of last year, and we always knew that we were going to search the bodies of water. When we knew that she was at the bar, that was the last confirmed location that she was at. We knew that her house was on the east side of Elgin. So when we looked between those 2 points, we knew that there were several bodies of water in between them, the biggest being the Fox River. We had no official documentation in our case file that showed that there was ever any type of bodies of water that were being searched or anything like that.
And Matt, do you have an idea of what happened to Karen? You have a theory?
We love you too, Paul.
Yeah, so we are still looking into that. We had a Toyota master technician come out and look at the vehicle. We had some of our accident reconstructionists look at the vehicle as well. So we're waiting on those reports. We're also waiting on the reports from the coroner's office as well. So once we get those reports and we, you know, kind of have a better idea of, you know, what we think happened, we want to be able to rule out things that we definitely think didn't happen as well. So we want to be able to, you know, make sure we have everything in front of us before we can make that, you know, determination, because that's what the family really deserves. That, you know, it's been 42 years. I mean, her mom is 90. You know, to be able to give her some closure to this is just truly, I mean, it's profound for both of us.
And Andrew, how did the podcast help in all this?
So our chief came to us with the idea of doing a podcast. Neither of us had ever done that. So it was kind of a apprehension, I guess, initially, kind of, hey, I guess we can try this. And so we did. And I think a couple of ways the podcast helped was initially it generated some tips because it was a different way of doing things. It helped us get people that maybe worked with her that were never spoken to or remembered her in different capacities. It also allowed media in the area to kind of pick up our story of what we were doing because it was something that was unique. And so we generated tips that way as well. People that saw us on different regional, you know, news, newspapers, things like that, because we were doing this podcast, media outlets kind of thought that was an interesting thing and picked that up as well. So those were helpful ways for us to get information.
And Andrew, was it those tips that led you to say, hey, let's contact the dive team?
Yes and no. So we had a retired officer, Mike Goff, who had followed this group called Chaos Divers. They self-fund and take donations only. They don't charge law enforcement. They don't charge families. They do this for the right reasons. They just come out and help. So he had put us in contact with them. But some of the tips we got regarding the different routes that she could have potentially taken, we talked with people in her neighborhood that said one of the routes that we had identified as possibly being one that we thought she could take was definitely a route that was well known for people in the area. It was an area that would potentially flood. We got a lot of information about like where fencing was and things like that at that time from people who had listened to the podcast. So that was really helpful. And then hooking us up with Chaos Divers, we had looked at 6 different theories of what we thought could have happened to Karen in our case as we walked through the podcast. One of those theories was that she potentially crashed into a body of water or somehow her car ended up in a body of water. So that was something we were always going to look at.
Right.
But getting information from people helped us kind of dial in where we want to do that.
Matt, real quick before I let you go, what are you going to do next? The Zodiac Killer? I mean, you guys are, you just solved this major one. What's the next case?
Yeah, we're going to go through our case file. It's more than likely probably going to be a homicide. With this case, Karen's case was such a unicorn for us because we didn't know what happened. There's so much that we could put out there because we didn't know if it was an accident, if it was something intentional or something in between. So we just wanted to be transparent. And that was the goal. Like, it was never to be exploitative of this case or any of the cases that we'll do in the future.
Sure.
We just want to get the answers for the victims and the family as well. So we're going to take a couple months and we're going to take a look at that.
Well, listen, great work. Congratulations on the podcast. Congratulations on solving this. And I know the family must be so appreciative. Detectives Matt Vartanian, Andrew Houghton, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
You got it.
That's absolutely awesome. It's good to get that good news, guys. I'm telling you, 42 years, a long time. Sorry, that's still a long time, but wow. You know what I mean? Absolutely wow. And yeah, props to Chaos Divers for that. That's amazing. It's good to see these answers sometimes. It really is. Let's see here. What do we have? What do I have for you next? Like I said, next we will be going back Wednesday. We'll be heading back to the Copying a Cold Case series. Just a minute here. I've been running the Good Samaritan, Good People segment regularly now, guys, so that we can keep putting the positivity out there in any sense we can because of all the negative stuff we see. So here we go with a couple more Good Samaritan or good neighbor, good person situations. I love to put these out, guys. Something positive to think about on a regular basis rather than all the negativity. So here you go.
You in tough times,
Jake.
cheers you up, or is just a friend when you need one. Today, we'll meet some lucky people who ended up living next to some of the kindest neighbors around. Let's get it on.
Hi, someone literally just sold your package like 2 minutes ago.
Excuse me. You got your package back.
Oh, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank y'all.
That was crazy. He chased him down the street and came back with it. That's awesome.
Have a good day.
You too. You too.
Ian.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm your neighbor. Open your door, brother.
I'm not home. I'll be home in like 10 minutes.
Oh, I thought all these cars out front. I thought you were home.
Oh yeah, I have people there with me right now, but I'll be home in like 10 minutes.
Yo, brother, I'm bringing a bottle of whiskey over. We're gonna figure this out, right?
Right.
Where you at?
I'm at the grocery store.
Get home, brother.
All right,
we're gonna drink this stuff.
I'll be home soon.
We're drinking.
Sounds like he's already happy.
I'll see you in a few minutes, right?
All right.
All right. See you then.
This man loves cars, but an illness keeps him from driving. Fortunately, his neighbor is happy to take him for a spin.
You know what? I thought about that too, Hunter's Moon. I actually had a friend that worked for Medevac, and I looked into it. I did one quick emergency assist with Medevac out here. I was only in the chopper for literally like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, because the distance between where the site was for the accident and the hospital. Exactly, Eddie. And at that point realized that's not for me. I don't like to fly. I don't like heights. I don't do well with it at all. So I never, but it was interesting the way it was, the way they work things, the whole inside of the Medevac unit and all that was so very cool. But no, I agree with you. Wasn't for me either. I was happy just being a regular first responder. I'll stick to fires and EMS and all that stuff. Flying, not for me though, but very interesting. And God love the people that do it. They're amazing. They really are.
So he can still enjoy the ride and fresh air.
Ready for a bit.
Yeah, that's not a good thing at all. No. That would be a problem for me too. Good point, Ida Toes. I'm pretty sure this is in the UK, Eddie. But yeah.
This guy was riding through his neighborhood when he noticed a fire. Without hesitation, he rushed in to help. Luckily, everyone was safe, and he only had to help put out the flames like a real hero.
Any kids? Any kids in the house? Anybody in the house?
No, I don't know. I live here.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's a big
Oh
one.
my God.
Hey,
Oh my
Scott,
God.
what's up, brother?
I'm a firefighter now.
Said it wouldn't help. No, there's so much heat in you. Yeah.
It was slowly getting it.
Yeah, I come around from work, man. I said, what's going on around today?
Yeah, that's wild.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
No,
you.
no problem, buddy.
Amen. Love seeing stuff like this.
I'm gonna go check inside.
An offer everyone dreams of receiving from a neighbor.
We are having taco night. So if you like to eat, you just come over and you're welcome to get it. You hear me? I called it, you didn't answer because I think you're busy. But anyway, we are having taco night. Good night. Goodbye.
We're having taco night.
Hey, your house is on fire! What? Your house is on fire here.
What?
Your house.
Me?
I keep telling Lisa.
We got out here trying to. Oh my God! Thank you. Oh my God!
Oh wow.
Down in here too, Patrick. Oh my God!
Wow, that was bad.
Like a mulch fire.
Thank you.
Living next door to your best friend has its perks, like celebrating every holiday together, including Father's Day.
Let's do this. Today is your day. Your day. It's your day. Oh my God, he did the flip. And it's your day. Your day. Your day. Is it your day? What is it? It's your day. Hey, Dad. Your day. Hey. Your day. Your day. Your day. Your day.
These guys are having fun.
Did you do a little twirl? Did you do a little twirl?
Mike just called me and said Mama's dead.
When the woman across the street saw her neighbor in tears, she rushed over to comfort her. No questions asked.
Hey, I live next door. I've got problems with the Wi-Fi.
Okay, okay, so why are you here to me?
Well, it's your Wi-Fi, isn't it? Have you done something?
Okay, but I've not got a problem with my Wi-Fi.
Well, I've got problems with your Wi-Fi. You've put a password on it.
What do you mean?
I tell you what, you let me have your password, and that's the end of the problem.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. You've been using my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. So, look, there's two things we can do. One is And I think the easiest thing is, let me have your password. Or, of course, you can always remove your password. I mean, it's just pretty easy, really. Simple as that.
What the hell? That wasn't what I thought. That doesn't fit, but hey, Christ.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, Wallet at the West Parking Center?
That's not me, though.
Is that you?
Oh my God, that's my daughter.
Yeah, I was at West Parking Center, and I was like,
Oh my God.
I don't know if she lost it, all the cards and everything.
A package thief thought this would be an easy job, but the neighbor didn't let him get away with it.
Hi. Hey, is Jason home? No, he's not. He's playing golfing.
Okay.
What you
See if
doing?
he could open that.
I got this. Give me that.
Well, I couldn't.
Come on.
Cheryl couldn't. I don't have no sprinkler.
He drove over 300 kilometers to visit his former neighbor who had just become a mother.
Okay. He just doesn't sleep.
So you don't sleep much like
He
that?
does not sleep.
The neighborhood came together to say goodbye to a bus driver on his last day at work. He had no idea how much he had meant to them all these years.
Estic hasta yo para plorar aquí. Mira, tío.
¡Qué cabrón!
Mira, ha baixat tot el barri a despedir el Quico. Buah, Gemma. El Quico plora, jo quasi que també. Ué! Vinga, fot el freno de mà i surt a abraçar-te a la gent. Buah, tio, m'he emocionat hasta jo, tinc quan ens hem vist tots a la curva. Ha bajado hasta el más chiquitín del barrio, ¿eh? Y gracias a todos. La verdad es que...
After seeing his neighbor's flag blown away by the wind, this man picked it up, rolled it carefully, and placed it somewhere safe from the storm. A small but meaningful act of kindness. If you have neighbors like these, installing a security camera is totally worth it. Some people are fortunate to have amazing neighbors, like this woman. She regularly left bags of food at the doors of her neighbors, who had no idea who their guardian angel was until they installed a security camera. When her secret was revealed, she was rewarded for her kindness.
I'm sorry, I come to just come to say thank you for the flowers. I only saw them, I've only just cooked it. I don't know where.
No, we didn't come today.
Yeah.
I was just to say thank you for everything you've done.
The girl or boy?
She's a girl.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Hello, it's me and Winnie, not Lindley this time. Hey, Joey. It's Joey and Winnie. Joey and Winnie. We have cookies and pickles for you guys. Yes. We'll leave them on your doorstep just in case you're not home. If you're not home, then we will just
That's
leave.
too cute.
I asked my neighbor to get my package while I was at work.
I'm stealing your package.
Gigi is an elderly woman with dementia. One day, she left her house, got lost, and couldn't find her way back. Fortunately, a delivery driver working in the area spotted her and helped her return home safely.
Hey, Butterfly. Oh my God, really?
Hey, how are you? Good. I actually have a question for you. Are you guys missing a little dog by chance?
Chicky? Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah, we found her down here at like 11 o'clock this morning.
God.
We have her at the house right now. I can definitely come get her and bring her back.
Wait, listen.
She's blind.
Yeah, did she have a shirt on too?
Yeah, she had a
It's hard to imagine how worried the owners were when their dog went missing. They were lucky. A responsible and caring neighbor found their pet.
My God. You can just put her down. She'll come in. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
I feel like, how did she even? And I noticed that the door was open.
Yeah.
Wait, stop it.
You know, that it just makes me happy. I had her.
I mean, we would have noticed her when it came to bedtime. I'm like, okay, where's she at? Cause
After 94 years of life, this man knows that kindness and care for others are what truly matter. When he found out his neighbor was sick, he made the best medicine, a hot bowl of soup.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
Hey, here's some good thank you. Chicken noodle. What's that? It's hot.
It's all right, I got it.
How you feeling?
I'm getting better. Thank you, Mr. Bob. I know. Thank you.
All right.
I love it. I love it.
I love you. You're beautiful. You are one of the most
Amen,
awesome
Cap.
and amazing
Amen.
human beings I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. I love you so much.
Here is a singing telegram for our Hattie. Happy Valentine's Day, because you're our daddy. Bye. Are you serious?
The best neighbors are the ones who help when your car gets stuck in the snow.
A little bit. There you go. Now go on back. Go on back. Just go.
Okay.
Just don't hit the brakes. Go over that way.
This way?
Yeah. We want to get you back.
Oh,
on
okay.
the road.
I see.
There you go. There you go. Now you're dead center of the road.
This woman was juggling motherhood, work, and countless responsibilities on her own until a kind-hearted neighbor stepped in to help.
Stop it. Yes, stop. Stop. Hello, baby.
That's our little baby, yeah.
Aw.
Hi, my name's John. My wife Cheryl. I don't want to be nosy. Your husband left.
Yes.
I'd like to get down and get your grass.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Are you sure?
Yep.
Are you okay? Nope. Oh, what's the matter? I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Here we go. That's the same mower I have. Exact same one. That's crazy. Me too, Cap. I really do. It makes me feel good. Very good point.
This
Jamie.
man leaves kind messages for his neighbors to brighten their day when they get home.
I love it.
I love you very much. Big kiss. Love you so much.
Oh, I love it.
We have the best neighbor in the whole wide world.
That's amazing. Amen, bro. 100%. Exactly. It gives you faith in humanity. Oh, Jesus.
And just like that, he became her favorite neighbor.
Yeah, it gives faith in humanity out there. It is absolutely good.
Every week, this
Wonderful.
man moves his neighbor's trash bin back
We
to
need
its
to see
spot.
this.
Tom, are you there? Hello, Tom.
How's it going?
Hey, thank you again, sir. Thank you.
I'm gonna give you
All right, let's go.
Good point, Heather. They were crazy looking. Good to see you, Heather.
Imagine your elderly neighbor stops by to invite you to a party at his house. How could you say no to that?
Hi.
Hi. I'm Doug across the street over here, right? I live over in that house there.
Okay.
And there's an invite to a party on February 15th.
Hello? Yes, hello. Is this Carlos?
The owner of this house
Yes,
was
man.
extremely
Right.
worried after losing his wallet with a large amount of cash. Fortunately, a neighbor knocked on his door with the best news of the day.
Pizza!
Yeah, I had so much. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do that?
Ooh,
It's
it smells
good.
so
It's a little
yummy.
wilted because I cooked
Oh,
it
no,
early,
yeah.
so
No, it's so
we'll
cool.
come back. Okay?
I love it. Thank you, man.
Okay.
By the way, what were you cooking yesterday? Because Christine and I were going to come in your house and eat. I think it was yesterday.
Hey, Phil. Good
There's
to
no
see you
better way
today.
to start the day than by looking out the window and seeing a heartwarming message from your neighbor.
Hi, Vivian. What do you want to say, sir? You wanted to know. What's it called? International Women's Day. I'm so proud of you for all this far.
After losing her husband, this woman was left alone, but not forgotten. Her young neighbor visits her regularly and brings her little gifts, never expecting anything in return.
To be the best neighbor.
The woman living in this house moved in next door to her sister and instantly became her nephew's babysitter.
I'm with you today.
Uh-huh.
Here's my buddy. Daddy.
On his way home from school, this boy noticed his neighbor struggling to pick up dirt on a hot day. Without hesitation, he grabbed a shovel and rushed to help. The boy worked alongside his neighbor for 3 hours, so she wanted to thank him. The next day, she had a surprise for her little helper: freshly baked rolls. This man's neighbors never have a sad day thanks to his thoughtful gestures. Instead of watching TV, these neighbors just check their security cameras for entertaining moments.
Okay.
Hi. What? I said hi. Oh, you had your earbuds in. I said, oh. Were you scared?
During a party, a little girl slipped out of the house without anyone noticing. Luckily, the neighbor saw her and immediately brought her back home. After a 10-hour shift at work, this guy came home to find the snow in front of his house cleared. After checking the security footage, he discovered his neighbor had done it. We all deserve to live next to someone willing to invite us over for a pizza night.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to my neighbors and see their dog. You forgot dogs are stupid. Hi, do you have an Aussie puppy?
That's my dog.
Okay, she got loose. She was at my mailbox up by the road. So here, let me hold her for a second.
Oh my gosh.
She right here?
Yep, that's her.
I know, baby. She came running right up to your door. What do you want me to do?
Our side gate is to the left of you.
Okay, we'll try it. Let me try real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's open. Do you want me to just put her back there and shut the gate?
Oh my God, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, got it. You're welcome. She's adorable. Congrats on her.
Thank you. Thank you again.
After accidentally killing their neighbor's plant, these kids decided to make up for it by bringing her a new one.
See ya.
Oh, that looks good.
Thanksgiving is usually celebrated with family over a delicious dinner, but not everyone is so lucky. So this family set up a big table outside their home and shared this special day with people experiencing homelessness.
Hell yeah, that's amazing.
Here, here's your nachos. There's enough for you and your dad, okay?
Okay, thanks.
You want something to drink?
Huh?
You want something to drink?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
She could have left all that trash there until the neighbors returned, but her kindness wouldn't let her just walk by. You know you have a good neighbor when he suddenly decides to tidy up your yard. He doesn't mind clearing the snow from the entire street because for him, it's not work, it's fun.
That looks like a blast.
Link to the ring doorbell.
Oh, they have a little basket right here. I'm going to put a little thing in the basket. I found a card near my house, and it's right here. So.
The kids were playing volleyball without a net until a neighbor saw them. He suddenly remembered he had an old net in his garage and rushed to set it up for them. If it weren't for the security camera, these people wouldn't have understood why their banana tree finally bore fruit. Luckily, their neighbor not only has a kind heart, but also owns a snowplow.
Kizzy, where's Uncle Jim? There she goes. Go get your treats.
That's awesome, Official. Good for you. I love seeing stuff like that. Like I said, guys, these are the things that gives me hope for humanity and tells me there's so many good people that are still out there. And we need to see more of this. That's why I started running this segment of positivity, basically.
Oh, if you think I'm shooting over there, you're
Awesome. Good stuff. Good deeds are hard to come by these days. I found a woman's wallet with quite a bit of cash returned as well. Absolutely. I do believe in good and bad karma. And if you provide good karma to the world, it will come back to you as well, in my opinion. And I always try to do the best I can in situations like that. Not because I expect something back, just because, it makes the world go round. And if more people are doing these things and they see other people doing these things and they see other people, in my opinion, it will create more of it, guys. And we need it so bad. So I hope you guys enjoyed those acts of positivity, I guess you could say, today. Like I said, with all the negative stuff we see on a regular, we need to see more and more of this. So let's see. Hold on here. Where are we at? 2 feet. Yeah, so we're about right. Let's see if we can get some smiles and get out of here for the day, for the morning show, you guys. All right. It is. Absolutely, Heather. There are some good peeps out here. There really are. And like I said, I want to show it as much as I can. That's why I started running that newer segment with that kind of stuff, because we don't see it, guys. We just don't. So, but there are so many good people still out here, and I love it. I love it. All right, let's see what we got. All right, let's see what we got here. Absolutely, Alicia. Absolutely. And yes, sir. Agreed. I'm one person doing it, but if others do the same and we can show it to each other, then yeah, it's definitely going to make changes. Let me see something here. That's cute. I love it. I love it. Tomboy. Mini tumblers. Tomboy does our crafting here. Check this out, guys. We've all seen the tumbler cups, right? Look at this one. How little this is. Tell me that's not cute. That's too much. I love it. Good job, Tomboy. It looks great. That's neat. I'd set that on my desk. I like many things. I think it's cool. Very cool. Great job. As always, great job. Reminded that not all people are bad, especially when we see amen. Yes, yes, ma'am. You guys are absolutely right. My brother makes fun of me, calls it cry corn. When I watch puppy videos, you're deaf or blind kids see what first time. Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. We got to keep that positivity moving, guys. Too many people have forgotten about it. So that's why I started doing this. All right, let's see what we can see if we got any funny stuff out here, guys. Yeah, that was cool. I love that.
You are.
Just open it fast.
What is it?
Jesus Christ!
My boy in here getting fitted for my wedding. Yeah.
You want to take this on back, Hey, Miss Josie. Good to see you, dear. Happy Monday to you. I hope you had a great Easter yesterday.
Mom. Oh, it's so cute.
There he is.
You're not eating.
بسم الله استرعبها.
He said he's got it when he's fresh. Oh, damn it!
This is on the grass, just chilling with this fish.
Rachel, look at your leg.
Look down.
mano. Me bate, mano. Por fuera, meu flor.
Hey!
Babe, what the
Kan jag göra det?
You stupid.
It's prank time.
Oh my god, Gina, please.
Reese, it's moving. Flashlight on it. Put a flashlight on it to see.
He's like, what the world? And Cooper's been with us since.
Ja, alltså de har ju liksom ordet air i sig.
Vadå air? Men skojar du? Kastar du ut dem på riktigt?
Jag ska på jobb. Jag är allerede för sent ut.
This is the only thing I can think of to scare him with. There's snakes in the bathroom.
Are you serious?
Yes, I don't know. Maybe it just came in because it rained or something. I don't know.
There's no way.
There is. It's by the back of the toilet.
Step back.
So what we do, we hooked up some buckets. Let me see you lift it up real quick. There you go. Look at that curl. Don't let it fall, okay? Don't drop it.
Nobody. You're stupid.
We gotta say the magic words to make the penny disappear.
Hookity pokity, hookity pokity, hookity pokity, hookity pokity.
Penny's in the water.
Oh, she's like a fucking song.
I have never seen this much earwax come out of my ear.
What the f is that? This is so disgusting.
Yeah.
God, Russia.
Okay, but look at it.
What is going on?
Nothing. It's peanut butter. It's a prank.
Are you crazy?
It's peanut butter.
Why are you doing this to your sister? Idiot.
Come pack it.
What? No.
That's hilarious.
Madre, ¿dónde está? Te traigo una caja de chocolates.
Ay, mi negrito.
Ábrela.
Gracias. Che pendejo, no tiene que ver.
How do you say flower in Chinese?
Fa.
And how do you say bridge in Chinese?
Q.
So how do you say flower bridge in Chinese?
You.
Now, how do you say it?
You.
No. Flower bridge.
Yeah. You.
Yes.
So broom kick challenge. Here's the idea. You're gonna put your right foot behind your left foot, put the broom handle on your toe, and as best you can, you're gonna try and kick it to the sidewalk as hard as you can, just like that. Think you can do it? Easy. All right, let's find out.
Sidewalk. Sidewalk.
What?
Right, now check and see what looks better.
Fix it.
Baby Ruth.
I need you to do it.
Stop! Omar, someone's calling you. Here. Someone's calling you.
No.
Stop! And then there's a face staring at the skeleton. Oh,
Hey, Angie, check this out. Look what I got here.
لم بقى لم الاكل هيبدا الاكل هيبدا
What aisle's it in, babe?
The sanitary products.
So, and it's a Cooch scoop.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back. I looked in the Santra, I looked in the shampoo aisle, I looked in near all the suntan lotion stuff. I asked at the front and they've got no idea what it is.
It's so weird because it doesn't exist.
You're kidding, right?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to steam this. How long do I put it on for? How long do I keep it like this?
Are you serious? I looked at him like, what?
Like 15, 20 minutes. What? You know what, man? Your mama had to be smoking more than just cigarettes when she had you.
She asked him to go find her a Cooch scoop. That was.
Babe. Mami, ya por teléfono con. Habla ahí. Habla.
¿Aló?
Sí.
¿Quién habla? Venga, te he ido a media recojones.
My brother just scared me.
Got you.
Wait a minute. Go ahead and get your seatbelt on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Oh, there's somebody back there. Let me out. Let me out. Ah, God. Oh, my God. Oh, what the? Whoa. No,
Welcome home.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Daddy,
Wow. It's a lot of aluminum foil, you guys.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God. I'm so.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
I do that all the time. Scare the hell out of my wife and my mother-in-law.
Time to mess with Angie.
Ow.
God, Dad, God.
Okay.
Good God.
What are you doing?
The dog barked.
I didn't do anything.
This shit pissed me off. Diana just pissed me off.
Why?
I don't know, bro.
Oh my God.
Turn around, turn around, turn around.
I thought I was outside.
Get out, run! You gotta run!
What are you taking a picture of me for?
Well, I needed to get to a safe place.
Uh-huh.
To let you know that there's a bug on your knee.
What? That's rude. I am not liking you right now. Turn that off.
Hey, Josh, come here. Just come here. Come look at.
If you had no idea how many times I've done that Michael Myers thing, because I have that mask and everything, I've done that so many times. It's not even funny. Too many people. I'm just an asshole with the masks. I am. I have so many of them.
Look at this.
What?
Look at this.
My mom got an email last night.
What did it say?
Says that I
They're
gotta get
they're
you
all
ready
around
to
me
go to school
too.
today. School's open back up.
Yay.
Cool. So they're dressed.
And get dressed. And
Okay.
it's April Fool's Day. School's still closed.
Do you know how many times my wife and I have done that to our kids when they were growing up? Who else wants brain bleach to erase the stupidity their mind is objected to in the last how long? Oh wow, you guys, that's funny.
Closed. Take your shoes off.
See, that's not a spider, that's a cricket.
I don't care. It's a giant spider. It's gonna get me. Please, Megan, get it out of here. No! Please! Please!
Comedy gold! Oh my god! That is the jumping doll!
You gotta stop doing that.
I'm sorry about the woman.
Alright, they've been all night long and I'm getting sick of it, so this drunk passed out. So I decided to hook up the air horn. Let's see if this will wake him up.
Remember when Brianna said she was gonna bring someone from school home today?
Yeah.
It's totally a guy.
Oh, really, huh?
Yeah.
Sure.
Me and Phoenix.
Okay. Okay. How'd you spell yes?
Y-E-S.
Okay. So how'd you spell? What does E-Y-E-S spell?
Yes. Yes.
No. Okay. How'd you spell yes?
Y-E-S.
How'd you spell eyes?
Oh, I joking. A-Y-E-S.
All right, y'all. That's gonna do it for today. I appreciate you guys joining us today for the morning show. I appreciate you very much. I hope you are all having a great start to your day. You may see me in here a little bit later. I'm not 100% yet, so don't quote me. So hopefully you got a little bit of a smile and a little positivity in your life today as well. So thank you guys again so much for being here, guys. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other, and don't change nothing. You guys are the beautiful people, and we will see you guys very soon. Bye-bye, y'all.
Life's a journey, let's make every moment shine. Together we share, our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you.